What is up, everybody? My name is Daryl Wilson, and today I'll walk you through how to create an auction website with WordPress step by step. If you've ever wanted to create a website very similar to something like eBay.com or gunbroker.com, today I'll walk you through how to create a multi-vendor auction website. With this website, you can create products and set an auction price, and you can set when you want your auction to expire. You can make as many auctions as you would like, and your users will be notified when auctions are ending. With this auction website, you can set a bid increments, meaning you can let users bid by increments of $1, $5, $20, or whatever increments you would like. What's also cool is your visitors can come to your website and see what other auctions vendors are offering on your websites. In this video, we're going to create a multi-vendor auction website. So with this website, you can go ahead and create your own auction products on your own website. However, you can also let other users come to your website, make an account and register, and then you can also let users sell auction products on your e-commerce store. Now, adding the multi-vendor feature to your auction website is totally optional. You don't have to allow this feature. In fact, you can actually just install the auction plugin and then integrate this on your website and then list auction products yourself instead of letting vendors sell on your website. But I'll just show you how to do both just in case, because typically most auction websites allow people to sell their own products on their store. So in this video, I'll walk you through how to create a multi-vendor store, and then we're also going to integrate the auction feature so anyone on your website can list auctions on your store. So let me give you a quick walkthrough of this website and then show you what we're going to make today in this video. Okay, so here is the auction website that we're going to make today in this video. So here we have the title to, encourage people to take action. Scrolling down here, we have some, images for some categories. Scrolling down here, you'll see that we now have a list of auctions. So here you'll see the starting bid, the current bid, and I'm actually winning this auction. So if you're actually logged in on the website, it'll let them know that they're winning an auction. Here is some other auctions, as you can see. Now this one right here is actually called a reverse auction, where it's actually the opposite of an auction. So you can have normal auctions, but also reverse auctions, meaning the person who bids the lowest wins. And this typically would be something for like contracts or, the least someone's willing to pay for a product, right? And scrolling down here, we have more auction products. And if we keep scrolling down here, we now have this little video right here where it can showcase people actually using the product, which I thought was really cool. We have some order upsells here at the bottom, and then we have our footer here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look at our shop page right here. So here is just a normal auctions page. So if you don't want to get too creative, you can just list your products right here where people can go through your auctions and they can see the starting bid and also if people are bidding on them. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and click on this cool bottle right here and show you how this works. So here we have this cool bottle. We have the starting bid. We have some description. You can let users know if this is a new item or a used item as well. Here is the time left. So it's about 1 week. Now you can set this period for like a week, a month, 6 months, or a year. You can set any time frame you want. Now we also have a reserve for this bottle, right? So the reserve price has not been met yet. So you can choose to have a reserve or no reserve if you'd like. In case you're not sure what a reserve is, that is basically the lowest you're willing to take for the item. So if you don't hit that price, the product will not sell and you can relist it automatically. Or you can actually buy it now. So right here, you'll see that people can buy it now for $15. And a vendor right here is currently selling this product. Now, what you can do here is actually click on the actual store, scroll down, and you can see a list of all of the products that current vendor is also selling on your auction websites. But let's go back over here and tell you what, let's bid on this, right? So let's say, for example, I want to bid $1, right? Now, I'm going to open this up in a new browser over here and show you how this works. And I'll go ahead and show you how this works. So what's really cool is that this syncs up with your website in real time. So if I click on bid right here, and if I go to another browser, you'll see right away how it flashes red and then the price updates. So now it's $11. And you can actually give more time per bid. So some snipers out there, you eBay guys, you like to bid on it on the very last seconds. If that's the case, you can extend the actual auction for like 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes, or you can extend the auction as much as you'd like. So it gives other buyers a chance to rebid on that product, right? So now this guy's like, wait a minute, I want to bid $12, right? So if I go back over here, now you'll see that it bids to $12, right? And I'm like, you know what? All right, let's do 15 bucks, right? Now the reserve price has not been met yet. So regardless, this product will not sell until this hits the reserve price. So I'll bid at $15. And then this guy's like, oh my gosh, someone bid 15. But now you'll see that the reserve price has been met. So now this person bidding on the actual product is now the current winner. So this is an example of how the auction works. You can actually run like normal auctions and also reverse auctions as well. And you'll have full flexibility to add as much description as you want for your auction websites. So now let's talk about reverse auctions. So unlike typical auctions, you can actually have reverse auctions, which is actually you're bidding lower on the product to see what the lowest people are willing to pay for it. Typically, this would be used for some products, but in this case, I'm just using like a contract. You might want to say, hey, I'm offering you to, do my yard work, and whoever bids the lowest usually gets the job. So right here, you'll see that the current bid is $9,500. Now, this is my own product, so your vendors cannot actually bid on their own products. And this is good because this prevents like collusion and stuff like that. Now, let's go ahead and bid on this for another account. Okay, so I quickly made an account, and let's say, for instance, now I want to bid on this right here for $9,300. So I'll click on bid. And then you'll see the current bid jumps to $9,300. And right now I am the winner or the lowest bidder for this auction. And if I go back to our other accounts, and then you'll see from the other auctioneer that I have now been outbid. So if I want to win, I'll have to go ahead and bid him again, right? So there are notices here that lets people know that they have been outbid, and this will encourage them to actually go rebid on the actual product. So from the admin's point of view, here is a list of all of our products right here. You can see that I myself have listed products here. However, we also have other vendors. So here you'll see Greg Willie, and he's also listing his own products, and he's running his own auctions on my website. So from an admin point of view, you can actually see all of the products right here and all the auctions. And if you want to check one out, you'll click on edit. And then here's the product, and we have some product description. And if we scroll down, you'll see that we have these options where we can make this new or used. We have the auction type. We can allow proxy bidding. We can also set a start price, set the bid increments. So that means if you want to only let people bid in $10 amounts, you can do that here. You can set a buy it now price and the auction dates. And as you can see, it's really simple to create auctions with this website. Scrolling down here, you can actually switch the vendors. So if the vendor made a mistake and you want to switch it, you can actually assign it to different vendors. And then here we have the history of the auction. And then you can also enable automatic relisting, where if the product fails, you can relist it after like 1 hour or something like that. So it's very convenient and everything's automated. Also, if someone actually bid on it and there was an issue where they says, hey, Daryl, I bid on this product, but I'm really sorry, I need to take back my bid. You as an admin can actually go ahead and delete the actual bid and then reassign it back to the highest bidder. So this does happen sometimes where people might bid on accident or they did something where they're not sure. So you can always go ahead and delete bids at any time. So now that we talked about how to run auctions on your store, now I'll talk about how vendors will list auctions on your e-commerce website. So here is the vendor's dashboard, and everyone who sells on your website will actually have this same dashboard right here where they can see their sales. And then here they can see their products, their orders, their coupon codes. They can see reports, reviews. They can request withdrawals as well. So let's go ahead and click on the auction right here. So here is a list of current auctions that this vendor is running. So this vendor can go ahead and delete the auction, they can edit it, and you can actually restrict what they can and cannot do in the options. So you'll have full control over what this vendor can do on your auction websites. But let's say, for example, he wants to check out the auction activity. So here you can see a list of everyone bidding on his products right here. You'll see the username, the bid, and then also the product. Let's go back to auction, and let's just imagine that we're going to create a new auction product. So right here, your vendor will be able to give the product name, create a description. You can upload an image for his product. And if we scroll down, they'll have the general options. Just like you have the options, they'll have the same options right here. So they can go ahead and create their own auction products. And then once they're done, they can go ahead and scroll to the bottom here and then publish it, and then you'll approve it as an admin. So I'll go ahead and quickly make an auction product. So I'll sell this for $10. The bid increment will be $1. The reserve price is $15, and the buy it now price is $13. I'll set an auction start date and end date. And once that's done, I'll scroll to the bottom and then click on Save Product. So now you'll see that this is pending review, and now this is where the admin will review the product and then approve it for the auction websites. So now once I go over to my products, you'll see that this one is currently pending, and you'll see the author is Greg Willie and the starting price is $10. Here I'll just click on quick edits and I can just go ahead and publish this and then update it. And now this product is now being sold on my auction websites and I can view it. So I'll go over here and visit sites and I'll scroll down right here and you'll see example auction products. And if I click on it, you'll see that all of the description pops up in a really convenient way. So it's a very simple way to run an auction website. Everything's automated. So by the end of this video, you're gonna have a really nice looking auction website. Okay, so this auction website is actually really simple to make. We actually have tons of templates available for free for you all to use. Now we're gonna make this auction website in 6 simple steps. In step 1, we'll get our domain and hosting. Now a domain is the name of your website, like myauctionwebsite.com, and web hosting will host your website online 24 hours a day. In step 2, we'll import a demo website and learn how to use the page builder. You will have access to a variety of free templates to use for your websites, and we will use a free drag and drop page builder called Elementor to design your websites. In step 3, we will install a free plugin called Dokan. This will add the multi-vendor feature for your store. This will allow users to come to your website, register, make an account, and start listing products on your e-commerce websites. In step 4, the WooCommerce Settings. We will integrate credit card payment methods, adjust the shipping, and also calculate taxes. This is all done with a free plugin called WooCommerce, and I'll walk you through how to use it step by step. In step 5, we have the pro version of Dokan. Now we are using a free plugin and you can build your entire store with the free plugin. However, there is a pro version. This gives your multi-vendor website a little bit more functionality, but it's not required by any means. But it's always nice to see what the plugin can offer for your store. In step 6, we will integrate the auction plugin. This will allow you to create your own auction product on your e-commerce store. This will also allow all the vendors on your store to also create their own auctions on your e-commerce website. Okay, you guys ready? All right, now there is a link in the description of this video. This will take you to step 1, and that's to get your domain and web hosting. Okay, and this is Hostinger.com. Now, Hostinger.com is among one of the more reliable web hosts. They have great support and a free domain when you guys use my link in the description. Now, once you guys are here at the top left, if you click on this language tab, you guys can change the website to other various languages. So if you speak Spanish or you speak Dutch or Romanian or Japanese or whatever language that you want, you guys can go ahead and select your language right here. I'm gonna go ahead and select United States. Now at the top right, you're gonna see hosting. So if I click on hosting right here, let's now click on web hosting. Next, we're gonna see this claim deal. So let's click on claim deal, and this will bring you to 3 different plans. So here we have 3 different plans, right? We have the premium, we have the business, and we have the cloud startup. Now for an e-commerce website, I would definitely recommend business or better. Generally for e-commerce websites, they do require more resources and more storage. So I do not recommend premium for this video. So you guys can always go with the business to get started, and you guys can always upgrade to the cloud startup a little bit later in your customer portal. So for now, just to get started, we can just go with the business plan. So right here, I'll click on add to cart. Okay, and the next thing is the time period. So here we have 4 different options, right? We have 1 month, 12 months, 24 months, and 48 months. Now, I would definitely recommend going with 12 months. 12 months will give you enough time to decide if this is for you or not. And you guys also get a free domain if you guys go with a 12-month or better plan. And just remember, you guys do get a 30-day money-back guarantee for any reason. So you guys can always get your money back just in case this didn't work out for you. All right, let's go ahead and scroll down here. Next, we're going to talk about selecting a payment. And the cool thing is they take crypto. So you guys can use credit card, you guys can use PayPal, Google Pay, and also CoinGate, which I believe is cryptocurrency. Now right here, you'll enter in your first name, your last name, you'll put in your country of residence, yada, 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 and then you'll put your social security number. I'm just kidding, guys. You don't put that in, it's a joke. All right, it's a joke. All right, and below that, we have this option right here where we can enter a coupon code. Now, $59, guys, for a year of hosting is already dirt cheap, right? But we can actually use my coupon code, which will save you guys even more money. So right here, I'll click on have a coupon code, and we're gonna enter the coupon code Daryl10, and then click on apply. And this will actually save you guys a little bit more money. So the price went from $59 all the way to $53. And of course, if you guys do upgrade to cloud hosting, this also applies for cloud hosting and all the plans at Hostinger.com. All right, and once you guys go ahead and fill out all your information and you guys enter in your credit card information, you'll then click on the submit and secure payments. Once you guys do this, I will meet you guys on the very next page. Okay, so when you guys sign up, it'll bring you to this page right here. Now they're gonna ask you various questions, but I do recommend to skip it and just install WordPress. So at the bottom right here, I'll click on skip. So next, it's gonna ask us what tools we want to use to build our website with. I also recommend to skip this because they're just going to install a bunch of various plugins and themes that we're also not gonna use. So at the bottom right here, again, let's click on skip. Okay, so next you're gonna enter in your domain name. Now think long and hard because this is the actual name of your website. In case you guys are total noobs and are still not sure what a domain name is, it is typically the address of your website where people enter to access your website. So think long and hard and just go ahead and enter it right here. I'll go ahead and enter a domain name here. So I entered in Wilson Darrell Tutorial, and what's also cool is they do give you other suggestions for other domain names, so that's also pretty helpful. So right here, I'll claim my free domain, and then I'll click on next. Okay, and the final step is now we're gonna register our domain name. So I first want to select the country where I registered it, so I'll put United States, and is this a personal or a business? I'll just select personal for now, and then click on next step. Now the next step is entering contact details for this domain. So this means you are taking ownership and registering your information for this specific domain address. So you'll enter in your first name, your last name, your email, and then your address right here. Once you enter in your details, you'll then click on Finish Registration. So next it's asking us, where is your target audience located? This is helpful because Hostinger will actually select the closest server based off where our customers are at. So I'm gonna select United States, and then I'll click on Next. Now Hostinger is going to install WordPress onto our new domain, which is essentially our website builder. All right, party people, so this is now the WordPress dashboard. So this is where all the magic happens. Now, if you want to see what your website looks like right now on the internet, at the top left, if we click on Visit Sites, this is your new WordPress website. It's using a default WordPress theme called 2024. And, they just put in some general content for us just to get started with, but not to worry, we're gonna make this site look amazing. So let's go back over here to our dashboard. Okay, now there's a few things I do wanna talk about. So over here under Hostinger, I'll click on onboarding. And this is like their little introduction where they're saying, hey, if you need help, you can watch this and stuff like that. However, if you wanna access your HPanel for Hostinger, here at the top right, I'll click on Go to HPanel, and this will actually open up your HPanel for Hostinger. So this is your domain right here. This is where all the magic happens, where you can look at all your server stats, your file manager, all the complicated stuff, right? Also, you can make emails. We're gonna do this later in the video. So right here, if I click on emails, we can actually set up free email service so we can create a business email. Also, we will need to adjust our server settings. So over here under the websites, if you click on dashboard for your website and you scroll down to the advanced section and click on PHP configuration, this is where all the PHP options, which we're going to set up in just a little bit. However, there's also one thing I do want to mention before we go on any further as well, and that is to confirm your domain and also your Hostinger account. So you'll go to your email accounts, the one that you registered with Hostinger, and you'll see these you'll see a lot of letters from Hostinger, right? And all you're gonna do is you're gonna confirm your account with Hostinger. After you confirm your account with Hostinger, you'll get like a welcome message saying, okay, welcome. However, you will also need to verify your domain. This is important because they want to verify that you actually own this domain and this is a real person. So you'll see an email like this right here, and all you're going to do is just click on this link, and this will actually verify your domain. It'll say that you have now been verified. So make sure to follow those steps before we go on to the building process, because if you don't verify your account within 30 days, they will close the account. So that's pretty important. So let's go ahead and continue with the rest of the website. All right, so congratulations on getting your domain and hosting. Now in this next part of the video, we are now going to adjust some of the general settings, and then we're going to install a theme and then import a demo website. And you guys are gonna love it. There's tons of demos, so no matter what kind of e-commerce website you are gonna build, we have something for everyone. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. Now, before we go on any further, I first want to adjust some of the general settings and make sure that we have some plugins installed that we need. The first thing is over here under users, let's go ahead and click on profile. Okay, so here is the profile settings. Now, if you ever want to change the backend WordPress color, you can do that right here. We can change this to light, to modern, to blue, to all these other various colors. I'm going to select midnight. I believe that midnight is just easier on the eye for everyone, so I'll leave mine at midnight. And I'll scroll down. If you do want to change the language of the backend of WordPress, you can go ahead and change the language right here. I do realize that many people watch my videos from tons of different countries, so this is where you can change the language and follow along. Also, if we scroll down, you will see your email. If for any reason you want to change your WordPress email, you'll go ahead and update it right here. Make sure that you have access to it, and this typically will send the credentials for WordPress login details when you forget your password, and I'll show you how to log in just a second, but this is where you can update the email. And if we scroll down, this is where you can set a new password for your WordPress website if you choose to do so. I'll change mine to Patty99, okay? And then here, I'll confirm use of weak password, scroll to the bottom, and then click on profile. Okay, now the next thing is we're gonna adjust our permalinks. So over here under settings, let's click on permalinks. Now you always wanna change your permalink structure to post name. The main reason why we do this is because usually a website is something like, yourwebsite.com/shop, right? Or -contact us or -about us. Not all these random numbers and gibberish, which doesn't look good. And also post name is the best option for SEO. So make sure you select post name, scroll to the bottom, and then click on Save Changes. Okay, now here let's click on Dashboard, and this takes you right back to the WordPress dashboard. Okay, now if you're using hosting like I recommended, there is some server options that you may need to uncheck in order for the import process to work. We've actually tested this and we're finding a workaround. This might be fixed in about a month, but after you uncheck these options, you'll be able to import the demo perfectly. So don't panic, don't worry, okay? I know people panic when something doesn't work in the video. They're like, oh my God, and they start like leaving me like nasty comments. So we're gonna adjust some quick server settings and then we'll go back to the website. So the next thing we're gonna do is install a WordPress theme. However, there are some server requirements that I want to adjust on our server. So let's go back over here to hostinger.com. Now, if you guys are using different hosting, you can go ahead and skip this step. But if we were using Hostinger, there are some things that we need to check in order for everything to work. So under your domain right here, under websites, you'll simply go ahead and click on the dashboard. This will bring you to your dashboard for your domain that you purchased. And if we scroll to the bottom on the left side, you're gonna see advanced. Let's now click on PHP configuration. Okay, so we're just gonna check a few boxes and make sure some numbers are correct. Here for PHP extensions, all we need to do is uncheck the image, I think that's imagic, and the JD right there. We'll go ahead and uncheck those two. And then at the bottom, we'll click on save. Okay. And then for the PHP options, all we need to do is just make sure that the max execution time is 500, the max input time is 500, the memory limit is 2 megabytes, and that is it. Once you adjust those settings, you then click on save, and we were all set and ready to rock and roll. I know many users get scared of all these options because they don't know what they are, but yeah, don't be scared. It's really easy, and Hostinger makes it really easy to adjust these options right here. So let's go ahead now and install our WordPress theme. Now we're gonna use a new WordPress theme that I developed myself. I'm really excited to show you all this new WordPress theme. It's amazing, you're gonna love it. Over here under Appearance, let's click on Themes. And at the top left, we'll click on Add New Theme. And under Search Themes, we're gonna type in, y'all ready? Solace. So we are gonna use the Solace theme. So here's a theme right here. You'll go ahead and click on Install. Once you install it, then you'll click on Activate. So once you install the theme, you're going to also install the recommended plugin. This makes the theme optimal to use for your website. So at the top right here, you'll click on Begin Installing Now. This is going to install the Solace Extra plugin. Here, click on Install. Okay, and return to dashboard. Okay, and now you're brought to this beautiful dashboard right here that I personally created, so I hope you all like it. Now, in case that did not prompt you, you can always get to this option by clicking on Solace over here on the left side. Now, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to install a starter template. So right here, I'll click on Start Now. All right, and here's me. I'm just, hey, I'll have like a welcome video there pretty soon, but this is actually an Elementor tutorial, which you can all watch later. Here, I'll go ahead and click on Start Now. And the great part about our theme is that we actually have beautifully pre-made designs and kits for all of you. So it doesn't matter what kind of industry you're in, you can use all of these fully built kits for your websites. But for this video, we're gonna focus on like the e-commerce aspect. So at the bottom, you're gonna see this WooCommerce right here. I'll go ahead and check WooCommerce. And here is a list of available e-commerce templates you can use. So if you're in a niche of like toys or furniture or men's clothing, cameras, and so on and so forth, you can go ahead and select the template right here. Now we add about 5 to 10 templates every single month. So the longer you have this on your website, the more kits you will have available to use for your store. But we're going to use this one right here. It's called Retail Ridge. So I'll go ahead and click on this. Okay, and here is the actual website. Now what's really cool is we actually have different color palettes that we design. So you can go ahead and adjust the color palettes and then you'll see what it looks like, right? So if I change it, you'll see what it looks like right here. And you know, here's some products. If we scroll down, you'll see that we have a list of all these different products and the color scheme changes just depending on what we select. So you'll see, you know, you can go ahead and adjust everything to your liking, which is really cool. Go ahead and scroll back up. Now, you can also adjust the fonts here. So if you do want to adjust the fonts, this is a global setting. So it'll actually affect all of these settings on the websites. And if you do want to browse around, you can just click on the About Us page right here. And this is actually being pulled from iframe. So this is actually a live website and you can see what your website will really look like, which is really awesome. So what I'll do over here is I'll just select the default color palettes. I'll select this, I think it's like a yellow, orange, peaches color. You know, I don't even know the color that we use, but it looks good, right? This might look like that, but when you import it, it'll look fine, don't worry. Right here, we're going to click on the Install the Page Builder, and we're also going to install the WooCommerce plugin. So make sure you have these two boxes checked right here, and then click on Continue. All right, and right now it's gonna build your website. Now leave this page open, don't go to any other browser, leave this page right here, and in about 1 minute, your website will be fully propagated. Also just wanna note, make sure not to open up any other browsers. This actually does stall the import process. We are working on a fix for that, but in about 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have a fix and update for it to make sure that you can import websites and visit other websites at the same time. Okay, and once the import's complete, we'll then click on Check Websites, and this is now your new WordPress website. Look at that. So we have our beautiful landing page. We'll go ahead and scroll down. You'll see that everything is propagating very nicely. So you'll see we have our images, our products. Everything's really nicely structured. I think you're gonna really like this for your first new e-commerce websites. I mean, to be quite honest, my first e-commerce website looked terrible. You guys are gonna get something that looks absolutely amazing. So I really do hope that you enjoy our theme and our demo. So this is currently our website. And if you wanna visit the other pages, I'll go ahead and click on the About Us page right here. You'll see we got our About Us page. We have some happy people. We have some products, we have some other social icons, and our footer here at the bottom. Here is a bunch of other pages. Now you can use these pages at your own leisure. You don't need to use these pages, but if you find yourself, you know, hey, I do like this page for whatever, you know, you can go ahead and use these pages at your own leisure. Okay, and then here is our contact form. Okay, we got our contact page. And here users can go ahead and submit a contact form, and this will go directly into your email. I will be helping you all install an SMTP plugin because there's going to be a lot of email exchanges between vendors, and I just want to make sure that it's fully compatible and working before we end this tutorial. So we'll come back to the contact form a little bit later. But let's go ahead now and go to the homepage. So next what I want to talk about is how to log in and log out of your website. So before we start designing everything, I just want to let you know how to log out and log in. Here at the top, you'll see log out. I'll click on log out. Then it'll bring me to this page here. And if I go to my website, you will now see that we are logged out and I can no longer log into WordPress. Now, if you want to work on your website from any location, here at the top, you'll type in -wp-admin, and this will prompt you to the login page. And here is where you're going to enter in your WordPress credentials. If you did forget your credentials, you can always log in through your customer portal. But I'll go ahead and enter in my details here. Here, click on remember. Here, I'll click on Remember Me, and then click on Login. And just like that, you have been re-logged in back to your website. So that's how you can log in and log out of your website from any location. Now we're going to use the page builder to design the website. Now this page builder is called Elementor. It is the #1 best free page builder for WordPress. I love it. But you know, when Elementor first came out, it started off as a very simple to use builder. And now it's like evolved into this whole like designer tool page builder. It's still very simple to use, but at times it can have a learning curve. I do have many tutorials on Elementor, but I'm gonna give you all a 10-minute crash course on how to use this page builder. So in this part of the video, we're gonna use Elementor to build your website. And then if you need more practice, I have many tutorials that I'll put in the description of this video for those of you who want to further extend your knowledge with Elementor. So with that said, let's go ahead and design your website using the free drag and drop page builder called Elementor. Okay, so before we go on any further, now let's talk about how to use the Elementor page builder, which is what you're going to use to design your websites. So here at the top, you'll see this Edit with Elementor. This is actually a plugin that was automatically installed, and this will actually be the page builder that we're going to use to design the website. So at the top right here, click on Edit with Elementor, and this will turn on the page builder. Okay, so once we turn on the page builder, go ahead and close this notice. Okay, so this is the Elementor page builder UI. Now on the left side, you're gonna see elements, and you can actually drag and drop these elements onto the page. Now here are free elements. They also have Pro, so for those of you who wanna upgrade to Elementor Pro, you can use these elements. But for most of us making this e-commerce website or multi-vendor website, we don't really need to upgrade to the Pro just yet. So for example, I'll go ahead and scroll down, and let's say I want to drag in a text widget below this, right? So I'll take this text editor, and now I have that pink line, you'll see right there. I'll drop it right there. And for every element, you're gonna see 3 different tabs. We have the content tab. This essentially controls the content of the element where you can type whatever you want. So this will be like, Daryl Wilson tutorials are good, right? And here is the style tab. The style tab essentially controls the color, typography, and also the size of the actual elements. So for example, over here, I'll change this to something like white, right? And then for the typography, I'll click on this pencil. Here we can change the size of the element. All right, you'll see it's really big and then really small. We can also make this bold, and we can add, we can make this italicized and add a underline or something like that. So you can style it right here under the style tab. And then here we have the advanced tab. The advanced tab essentially controls the position of the elements, and it also adds in cool effects like motion effects and a bunch of other animations. So for example, you'll see I can create padding right here, which is essentially space. We can add padding to the left side, we can add it to the right side, and you can see here how I'm moving the elements around. And if I scroll down, they have tons of other options. So right here, I'll click on motion effects. And let's say I want an entrance animation, right? So I want to zoom in left. Ugh, that's really ugly. Let's try something else here. Bounce in. Okay. I actually like fade in down, here, fade in down. I think fade in down is pretty sleek, so there's a bunch of different animations that you can mess around with. My personal recommendation is don't get too crazy with these because these can make your site look really ugly really fast. Now, let's say, for example, you want to duplicate this, right? I can right click on this and I can also duplicate this, right? Let's say I want to delete it. I can also right click on this and also delete elements as well. All right, makes sense? So I'll go ahead and right click and delete this. Now let's say, for instance, all right, cool, I know how to use it. I want to make my own section, right? I'll click on the plus right here and then click on plus. And then here we have the flex box. Now the flex box can be somewhat confusing for new users, and I'll do my best to explain it just to make sure that we're all on the same level. So I'll go ahead and select the arrow right here. Okay. Now what I want to do here is I want to take another container. Okay. And what I'll do over here is I'll go ahead and duplicate this container. So now I have 2 little containers right here, right? We have 1 and then we have 2. So now I want to add an elements, right? So to add an elements at the top left, I'll click on add elements. Here I'll put in a text, right? And then I'll throw in a text editor, right? And then also throw in an image in the middle, right? Right there. Okay, now to add an image, I'll click on choose image right here. You can upload your own images to the website, or you can just practice with the media library. So I'll select this guy here. Okay. And then maybe below that, you want like a button or something, right? So I'll just throw in a little button right here. All right. And you can actually change this to like learn more or something, right? So every element has the 3 options. So this adjusts the content, the style, and then also the position. Now the Flexbox can be a little confusing for new beginners, right? So here is the Flexbox settings. Now with the Flexbox, you could actually change these to be all the elements where you want them to be horizontal, right? Or you can make them vertical. You can make them reversed, or you can make them the opposite way. All right, so what I'll do over here is I'll just delete this just so that we have more space, right? And here, this will give you a better understanding. So here I have all of them to the left side, vertical, reversed, and then we have this completely reversed. So what this essentially does is it actually gives you better control of the elements. And we can actually justify the content right here and like change everything in the center to make sure, you know, everything is like spaced out correctly. So now if I adjust these as well, you're going to see that we can now, you know, you can see here that we can sort of, you know, manipulate these elements to make things a little bit easier instead of manually adding in padding and margin and making things a little bit more difficult. We can also add in gaps. So you'll see here we can add in gaps right here for all of our elements. The more gap space that we have, the more we can manipulate these elements. Probably delete this button right here. You know, I think something like this right here would be very practical. So this is a quick overview on the container. I do have a whole nother video that talks about how to use the Flexbox in detail. It's about 15-20 minutes long, but for those of you who don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can simply just use the boxes. So I'll go ahead and delete this. So now we have this one box, right? But I do want to add in a container in the box. And I'll duplicate this box, duplicate 1, duplicate 2. So now we have 3 different boxes, right? So you can also just use your website without using the Flexbox as much, right? So over here, we could add in our container, right? And, you know, build your site as usual. As you can tell, you know, simply by messing with these elements, I think you'll all get the hang of it where we can go ahead and, you know, build a website without, you know, without a lot of experience, right? So I'll go ahead and quickly just add something in here. And I do want to show you all something else. I'm going to put Daryl Wilson. So we have this section here, right? Now, instead of actually doing this all over again, what I can actually do is I can actually duplicate the column. So just like we duplicate elements, we can also duplicate the entire section. So under the container, I'll right click on this and also duplicate it, you know, and also duplicate it. This way, the website will look a lot more structured. You'll have the same patterns, the same padding, the same colors, and so you don't have to keep changing everything all over again. And I want to get rid of these ones now. These are empty, so I'll delete this one, and I'll delete this one as well. Oops, sorry. I actually duplicated it. Here we go. I'll delete this one, and I'll delete this one here as well. Now, on top of this, we can also duplicate entire sections. So you'll see that we have these pink dots right here, and we can also use the Flexbox to actually manipulate these elements in here as well. But what I'll do over here is I'll right click this and I'll also click on duplicate. So now we actually duplicated the entire row again right here. Pretty cool, right? And if I want to get rid of that, I'll just delete that and we're brought back to square one. Now, a lot of users ask me how to add in space. So you'll see right here that, you know, we do have a little bit of space right here, but I want it more, right? I want more space because it's a little bit too close up here. So I'll click on these 6 dots up here. And first I'll add a background color. So I'll add a background color really quick. All right, just so that we understand what we're doing, all right? And then for the advanced section, here we have padding, right? I'm gonna uncheck these and we're gonna add padding to the top, all right? And then we can also add padding to the bottom. Okay. We can also add padding to the left and to the right side as well, right? So I'll add 20 to the right. 30, why not? Let's do 30. And then 30 to the left as well. So just remember that padding is space. So as you can see, all I've done here is I've added space to every side, which makes the site a lot more structured and looks really good. So I'll go ahead and close this as well. So go ahead and practice this. I know when you're using the page builder for the first time, it may be a little, you know, new to you, but that's okay. You know, it just takes practice, right? So if I want to take this button, and drag it here. And then if I want to add in space above that button, I'll just go ahead and put in some space and voila, right? And yeah, so on your own free time, feel free to use this page builder. I do have another video that goes over Elementor in detail. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Elementor because I understand it's a page builder, but I already have full detailed tutorials on this page builder. So I will go ahead and leave those tutorials for all of you in the description below of this video. But as you can see, you know, it's not that difficult, right? Daryl Wilson is the best tutor. Yeah, right? Now, let's say, for example, you disagree with this, right? And you want to go back and change everything. So over here on the top, you'll see this Elementor button. Here we have history. What's cool about Elementor is if you do make a mistake, you can always go back into the, past and you can reverse everything that you've done, right? So what I can do over here is go all the way back to the beginning and click on editing started. And this will actually take me back to when I first started designing the websites. So if I go ahead and scroll up, you'll see that everything is back to normal when I click on editing started. So this takes me right back to the beginning. And to go back to the elements, I'll just click on the Elementor here as well, uncheck history, and then click on add elements. Now, let's say, for example, you want to save your progress, right? So here we have endless savings. I'll put endless deals. And let's say you want to save this. So once I do that, here at the top, I'll click on publish. And this will save the changes. Now, if you do just want to see like a preview of it before you save it, here, if you click on preview changes, this will open up a new tab. And this is your websites with the preview changes saved, but not published on the websites. So you'll see right here, we have our beautiful websites, and yeah, everything looks great, and we are all ready to rock and roll. So that is a quick little 10 minutes summary of how to use the Elementor page builder. I do have many other tutorials on this page builder, and on your own free time, you can go ahead and watch those. But for those of you who just want to focus on the e-commerce aspect, we're gonna chug along and keep going to the rest of the video. Now, in order to exit the builder, here at the top, I'll go ahead and click on the Elementor logo and then click on exit to WordPress. And here at the top left, I'll click on the WordPress logo. And then here at the top left again, I'll click on visit sites. And this takes you right back to your WordPress websites. So you'll see that we have the changes saved. And if we scroll down, you'll see everything looks fantastic. Okay, so now that we know how to somewhat use the page builder, now I'll talk about how to create pages and also how to add them to the menu. You probably noticed here that we have pages, but what happens if you want to make your own pages and add them to the menu? Let's do that. So the first thing is creating a page. Now there's two ways to do this. Here at the top under plus new, you can click on page and this will create a new page for you. You can also do this by going to the dashboard right here and going over here to pages and clicking on all pages. Here's a list of your pages that were created for you automatically through the demo that we imported. But here at the top, I'll click on add new page. So let's go ahead and create a page for our staff. So I'll put my staff. Here at the top right, I'll click on publish and publish. Okay, so once we publish the page, now let's design it with the page builder. So here, I'll click on edit with Elementor, and this will turn on the page builder. Okay, so here's the page. Now, the first thing that you might have noticed is that we have this large section right here. We can go ahead and disable this. You can also set this globally in the theme customizer options, but I'll talk about that in just a little bit. So right here, we have this gear icon under page settings. And here on the left side, you're gonna see some options. All we're gonna do is for the page layout, we're gonna change this to Elementor full width. This is basically saying I want Elementor to be the only thing on this entire page. And then voila, we're brought to a blank sheet where we can go ahead and build the websites. Okay, so now we can build the site as usual. Now I do want to introduce you all to the Elementor AI. So right here, you can build the website with AI. You can connect this for free with Elementor AI. For the first like 100 credits or something, it's completely free. But after a while, they do charge you. But you can at least, test it out. Maybe you'll like it, and maybe you can make something really cool with it. So I'll go ahead and connect this with my websites. Here, I'll go ahead and click on Get Started. So now we can prompt Elementor to create a section for us. So I'm going to put something like, create me a 3-column row that introduces my staff that matches the current. And then I'll click on generates. And I have no idea what they're going to create, so let's just see what they make for us. Okay, and here we go. We have these 3 little sections. Now, these aren't 3 columns, but why not? Let's just give it a try here. So I'll go ahead and click on this one and click on use layout. And just like that, Elementor made this brand new section for us. So all we got to do now is just replace these elements and the images with our own. So I'll go ahead and click on this image. I think under the media library, we got like a picture of a dude. Here we go. We got the dude. Go ahead and find another picture of this guy here. And, oh, they even added the border radius. How about that? They made it a little bit more rounded, pretty cool. Go ahead and put in this guy over here. Emily Johnson. I mean, that's a woman's name, so it should probably be a woman, but, you guys get the point, right? So go ahead and put in this dude over here, and there we go, right? And you can always add more to this section. So, for example, if you want to add like a little bio, go ahead and put this under here. You can add a little bio. The element that they're using is the image box. So if you want to see what the image box is, if I click on the plus and I scroll down, you'll see under the general, this is the image box. So all they did here was add in an image. They have a little title and then the description right there, right? So yeah, we can go ahead and use this section, and you guys can use AI. I think it's pretty cool. I really wouldn't build your website around AI, but it's cool just in case you can't think of a section to create. Okay, so anyways, now that we have this section, now let's go ahead and publish this, right? So we know how to design the page. Let's go ahead and publish this, and now let's add it to the menu. So I'll publish this, and now let's go over here to the Elementor logo and go back to WordPress. Okay, click on the WordPress logo. Now over here under appearance, we had themes earlier, right? But here we have menus. Let's go ahead and click on menus. Now over here, you're gonna see select a menu to edit. So we're gonna select the main menu and click on select. You can always make a new menu from scratch, right? So if you click on create a new menu, you can actually create a new one, and then you can actually pick what pages you want. So just to, just for tutorial purposes, I'll walk you through this. So I'll put in like temp menu. And then this will be the primary menu. I'll click on create. And then I'll click on view all for pages. And this is where you can add all the pages that you want to the menu. So for example, we have our staff, new arrivals, shop page, and all these other pages and so on and so forth, right? Oh, sorry, I got to add that to the menu. So I'll add in the home, the about, the cart page, and all these other various pages, right? Okay. And then at the bottom, I'll click on add to menu. So here's a list of our current pages. Now, if you do want to create a drop-down menu, for example, I'll take this cart and drag it under the account. So when users hover over the My Account page, then the cart will show, right? So I'll go ahead and get rid of the sample page. I don't need that, right? And yeah, I'll just use this temporarily. Click on Save Changes. And now we can go check the website. So here, click on Visit Site. And there we go. So now we have our brand new menu with the new page that we created. So right here, click on My Staff. And you'll see this is that brand new page that Elementor created for us using the AI. How about that? So that is how we can also create pages and then add them to the menu. But I do want to adjust the menu really quick. So here's a shortcut. So instead of going back to the back end, I can hover over this and click on menus. And I want to use the primary one that we created. So this is the main menu. I'll click on select. And here under pages, I'll click on view all, and then I'll add the My Staff page. Click on add to menu. Okay, we added our staff. Now at the bottom right here, I do want to make this the primary menu. This will make it show this menu displays. Here, I'll click on save menu. And then here at the top, I'll click on visit site again. And then voila, we have our original menu, but I did add the My Staff section right there. So as you can see, creating pages and Adding them to the menu is quite simple. And once you go ahead and you create the pages, you can simply use the Elementor page builder to design the page right here to your liking. So now that we've done that, now let's talk about the next section. Okay, so now that we know how to use the page builder, we know how to make pages, now let's talk about how to create products. Now we're gonna create 2 products using the WooCommerce plugin. Now the reason why I'm teaching you how to make products first is because you probably need to teach your vendors later, right? So we're gonna make a simple product, and we're also gonna make a variable product as well. So in this part of the video, I'll walk you through the basics of how to make products, and then later down the road, you can show your vendors how to make products as well. Okay, so now that we know how to design the websites, create pages, and adjust our menu, now let's focus on more of the e-commerce aspect and create some products. So let's go over here to our dashboard. Now really quickly, we installed the WooCommerce plugin, and this essentially turns our WordPress website into a full-on e-commerce website. If for any reason you don't have it installed or you want to know where it's at, under the backend under plugins, if I type in WooCommerce, you'll see that this plugin right here will pop up. So here is the WooCommerce plugin. So for any reason you deleted the plugin or you can't find it, you can always go ahead and reactivate the plugin right here. And this gives you the shopping cart functionality, which will allow you to create product and accept credit card payments on your WordPress websites. So really quickly over here, let's click on all products. Now by default, we have created several products for you automatically, and these are just demo products, and you can go ahead and edit these at your own leisure, right? You can go ahead and adjust these, but really quickly, let me first explain how to create a product just in case you know how to do it, and then also you can show your vendors. So at the top left, I'll click on add a product, and now we're gonna create a simple product. All right, so we're gonna give this product a name, a baby bottle, right? Now what's really cool with Hostinger is they actually have AI description that you can use for free. So you can describe your products, and Hostinger will actually give you some advice and information on how you should describe your product. So I'll put a simple baby bottle. All right, and then for the content length, we can make it short, medium, or long. Go ahead and make that short. And then for the tone of voice, we can change it to formal or friendly. I like friendly, I think people respond to friendly is the best. People love buying, but they hate being sold to. You know what I mean? So Hostinger will go ahead and create some description for our product. And here we go. So we have some description, right, for our long tail description, right? Go ahead and scroll down. So here we have some options. We have a simple product, group products, external, and variable product. Now I do have tutorials on all these other products, but we're just gonna focus on simple and variable for this tutorial. So how much does your product cost? Well, it's about $100, right? For a baby bottle, it's kind of ridiculous. Let's knock that down to 50, okay? Maybe that's too crazy, but it's on sale. It's on sale for $40. So it's currently on sale, and we're gonna schedule a sale from October 16th to October 31st, which is Halloween. All right. And then here we have inventory. So here you can enter in your SKU number. You can put your stocks. You can also enable stock management. This will let users know how many you have in stock. So I'll just put 20 in stock. Here we have shipping. You can enter the weights, dimensions, and then also later we'll talk about shipping classes. Linked products. So upsells are products that you can recommend when someone's currently viewing this, and a cross-sell is a product you can recommend when users are checking out. So for example, I think I have an alarm clock on my website. So I'll recommend this alarm clock. And then for the cross-sell, I do have another baby bottle on the website. So I'll recommend that other baby bottle, right? Attributes, this doesn't apply to us because this is not for a variable product, so we can skip that. Purchase notes. If you want to leave a note for your customer when they purchase it, you can go ahead and leave that note right here, and they'll receive that when they purchase the product. Now here we have product short description, and this is actually the most important description for your products. So here is one of our products, right? We have the title, we have the description, and here is actually the short description. So whatever we enter in right here will display right next to the image of our product. Now the description that we entered in earlier, that's actually the long tail description. So that's actually going to display down here as well. And here is the upsell products, which are products that we're recommending when someone's currently viewing this product. So what I'll do right here is I'll just go ahead and take this content, right? And then we'll just slap that in there right here, okay? So now we got some content. All right, cool. Go ahead and scroll up. So now that we entered in the content for the product, now we need to maybe add an image, right? Duh. So over here under set product image, I'll click on set product image, and this is where you can upload images. So if you do want to upload images for your product, you'll go ahead and upload those images right here. Under media library, you'll see we have this baby bottle right here, right? I'll set this product image. Now, if you have multiple pictures of this or you want to show more, you'll click on product gallery, and this is where you can give more, more images for that specific product. So I don't really think I have any more images for the baby bottle. So what I'll do right here is I'll just select like 3 of these. I'll hold shift and then, enter those 3, add those to the gallery. So next we have product categories, and I highly recommend you add categories for all of your products. The reason why is you'll see right here how we have a category for technology. If a user does click on technology, it'll actually showcase all the product related to that specific category. So what I'll do over here is I'll check baby, and in case you don't have any categories, you'll click on add a new category, and this will be like the techie stuff, right? And we can you can add more than one category. So we can add techie stuff and the baby category. For product tags, we can go ahead and put baby, bottle, pink. These are tags essentially where if a user clicks on pink, any other product with that pink tag will also display. I don't really use tags too much, to be honest. I think most people don't, but for those weirdos out there on the internet who do love product tags, you can go ahead and add product tags. This right here is not necessary. So once you have successfully added in all that info, let's go ahead now and publish this to the store. All right, and here at the top, I'll click on view product. And here is our new baby bottle. How about that? So you'll see we have the title, we have the price. So it was 50 bucks, now it's $40. We have some description, we have 20 in stock, right? We have the categories right here, and then we have the tags. And below that, we have some description for our product, and also we have our upsell right here as well and related products. So that is an example of how to create a simple product. I just wanted to show you all how to do this, just in case later you want to teach your vendors also how to create a simple product. Now, if you ever want to adjust the product at any time, at the top right here, you'll click on edit products, and this is where you can edit the product. So for example, I already have a product called baby bottle, so maybe I should name this something else, right? Like elegant baby bottle. And here under the permalink, I can also change this to like elegant, right? So when users actually click on it, they're gonna see this permalink in the browser tab. So I'll go ahead and click on updates. And voila, click on view product again. And now it's changed to elegant baby bottle. And you'll also see the permalink change as well. So that's an example of how you can create a simple product. I hope that was easy, but now we're gonna go into one of the more complicated products, which is also one of the more popular ones, which is called a variable product. So at the top right here, let's click on plus new and go to product. So now we're gonna create a variable product. Now, what is a variable product? So here is my other e-commerce website, and I'll go over here to the shop page, and what I'm gonna do here is scroll down, and I'm gonna show you what a variable product is. So here we have this outdoor lamp, right? However, for this outdoor lamp, they have different sizes and colors. So for example, we have small, medium, and large, and we even have different colors. So you'll see when I pick different colors that the object changes, right? So this is actually very commonplace. So I'll show you how to create a variable product in this next section. Okay, so we're gonna create a variable product for headphones. So I'm gonna put rare headphones. Here I'll put in some description, create some content from AI. Okay, there we go, we got some product description. Now the next thing I'll do is over here under product data, we're gonna change this to variable products. Go ahead and close these little notices they got. Now you might have noticed here that the price has disappeared, and that's because we have moved it. But really quick, you'll have the same options right here under shipping. Here is link products as well. Here we have attributes, and then we also have variations. Now the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add attributes. So an attribute is something like the size or the color, right? So for the name, I'm gonna type in size, and I'll put small. Now, there is a button above the enter sign. This is a large bracket sign. I'll put it on the keyboard. You're gonna hold shift and press that button, and then I'm gonna put large. Okay, so now we have size, and then we're offering small and large, right? So I'll go ahead and save those attributes. Okay, and we're gonna add another attribute. So we're also gonna add in color. So I'll add another one here. This is gonna be color. This is gonna be black and white. Save attributes. Really quickly, you wanna make sure these boxes are both checked. This will make it so all of these appear on the variations. So I'll go ahead and click on save attributes. So we have size and color that we created. Now let's go to variations. So now we're going to generate the variations. So right here, I'll click on generate variations and click on OK. So what that's done here is now you see we have small black, small whites, large black, and large whites. So what we're gonna do here now is over here, I'll click on edits, and now we're gonna add the details for the small black, right? So the first thing obviously is to add an image, right? And let's go ahead and see if we have it right here. I'll put in a picture of the headphones. Now, what's really important is you must add the price. If you do not have a price for any of your variations, the product will not display. So I'll put $100, and that's really all you need to enter. You can enter this other information if you want. Of course, you probably should, but I'm not going to, just because I just want to demonstrate, how to create this. So all I'm gonna say is, all right, we have the image and the price for the small black, okay? Once you're done editing all this information, you'll just click on edit again, and this will close it. And then you'll open the next one. So now we have small whites. So edit, go ahead and click on that. Now I do need to upload a file right here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take this image on my Mac and I'll drop it right here. I just grabbed some random image on the internet, so it's gonna probably have like trademark things all over it. But yeah, so this is the image. I'll set this variation. And then I'll also make this $100, And then for the sale price, you can also make these on sale. So just because, they're all the same price, you can add different prices for different variations. You don't have to make them all the same. So I'll put this as like 90 bucks or something, right? And then you'll enter in this information right here, like the description, the weight, and all that stuff. And then I'll click on edits. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna do the same thing for these next two right here, right? So I'll just go ahead and make this pretty quick. Right here, $100. Right, and then for the whites, I'll also do this here. You can see I'm pretty quick. We should have like a competition here to see who can make products the fastest, so. And then here, the product short description. There we go, okay. Now really quick, so for default form values under the variations, what is the default image that you want users to see when they see the products? Well, I want them to see a small black, right? And that's pretty much it, right? So I think right now we can go ahead and publish this. You can also add in more gallery images if you want to go that route. So over here on the right side, now I'll click on product image. And I want to display this one here in the store, all right? I'll click on set product image. You can also add in product gallery images if you choose to do so. You can also add this to a category, which we probably should. All this to techie stuff and technology. And once we're all done, let's go ahead and rock and roll. So I'll click on publish. And then I'll view the product. All right, cool. So here we go. We got rare headphones. And here is the small. Let's pick the whites. And then you'll see the images changes to the white one right there, right? And yeah, so that's pretty much how you can create a variable product. This is probably one of the more confusing aspects of creating products, but I think many of your vendors probably want to create variable products. So you will need to show them how to create variable products when they create products on your store. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go to our shop page right here. So I clicked on shop. And if we scroll down, you're going to see our rare headphones. There we go. So here is the rare headphones. Now notice how it says select options, and that's because we have products that have different prices. So we did have one on sale. So depending on what they pick, it'll change the price, right? So for example, this has $100, but I believe the small white one was 90, right? Yeah, so now it changes to $90. So that is a complete rundown of how to create products for your store. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so now that we know how to create products, now let's talk about how to add vendors to our store, which is the main purpose of this video. But really quickly, before I do that, I just want to demonstrate the theme customizer. Here at the top, you'll see this customize button. Go ahead and click on customize, and this is gonna turn on the Solace theme customizer. You might need to know about some of these options a little bit later, right? So the first thing I wanna show you all is the core options. So here we have homepage settings. If for at any reason you want to make a specific page your home page, you'll go ahead and select that home page. That means when someone goes to your website, like for example, daryltesting.com, the home page will be the very first page they're brought to. This is very important just in case you delete your home page or you want to assign your home page as your home page. Okay, going back here. Now there are some other features and options, like we have a header builder right here where you can build your header. So here I have this header builder, and this is where you can actually pick like a pre-designed header for your shop. So you'll see we have some right here. We have this one. We got this one, right? So the whole purpose of this theme was to make it as easy for beginners as possible, right? We wanted to give them less options instead of more because we wanted to really simplify the process of building a store. So here is the very first one. And let's say, for example, you want to add in like an element, right? Here we have an elements, and let's say, for example, you want to, throw in like a button or something. Here, I'll take this button and just drag it right here. And then you'll see the button displays right here, right? And you have more options. So you can put buy now. You can, add in the URL, right? And you can add in more elements to this row right here. So now that we have this, you might want to add in like, I don't know, contacts, right? Throw in some contacts. And then you'll see we have these little icons displaying here at the top, right? Now, for these elements, you can go ahead and design these to your liking. You can go ahead and change the color, the font, and so on and so forth. You can also add in new elements as well. So we have like the websites. You can add this, and then you'll see we have website pop up right there, right? Okay, so that is how you can pretty much design the header of your websites, and then also the footer. So here we have this default footer right here, but you can always go ahead and change this. We have many preset options for you, so we can select this one here, right? Or select this one here, or this one, or this buy now one, or just this basic one right here. Okay, pretty simple, as you can tell, and then you can drag and drop elements just like we did to the header. So yeah, that is the Solace theme options. We do have some more coming, as we're developing this theme. But for now, that's pretty much the meat of the actual theme. Now, really quickly, let's click on the shop page, and I just want to show you one more option. So over here, we have WooCommerce, and then we have like the product pages. So we do have a bunch of different variants and different ways on how to display your products. So for example, we have layout 2, which basically centers everything. We have layout 3. This will essentially stretch the actual image and make it a little bit larger. Here we have layout 4. Right, so with layout 4, we essentially got rid of all the description and buttons, and when the user hovers over it, they're going to see all of this right here, right? So they can go ahead and just like view it like that, which I thought was pretty cool. We also have the special layout. So for the special layout to work, you simply need to add in an image. So here you can see we have a different structure, and what we thought was we can add banners next to our most prioritized images. So for example, we'll need to add an image here for this to work. I'll go ahead and select this desk right here, selecting crop. Now, since we actually disabled this option over here, the image CK, the cropping will not work. So if you do want to crop images, you just need to re-enable those options right there, and then you'll be able to crop. We're working on a fix where you don't have to check these anymore, but in the future, this should all be fixed within like a month or two. So over here, I'll go ahead and skip crop. And then you'll see now we have this beautiful image here on the right side next to some of these products. And you can add banners here. You can add like sale banners. You can add like, notices or something else. And if we scroll down, you're going to see that we now have this image here. However, we can go ahead and change that image. So over here, I'll select an image. And I will throw in these clothes right here, right? Skip the cropping. And now we have these clothes right here next to these images here. And then lastly, we have our third one, which we're also going to select an image. Go ahead and scroll, and let's pick, I don't know, what should we pick here? I think we're running out of images, y'all. So is that the computer maybe? It's going to look kind of weird stretched out, actually. I'll just pick these clothes right here, and then click on skip cropping. And then voila, we now have this image next to our products. So as you can tell, it does add a little bit more design and decor and finesse, and not so boring and bland. So this is one of our special layouts. If you don't want to use it, no problem. Just click on another one. So here is special 2. And this is more for an elegant look. So this essentially gets rid of all of the space and it clumps the images together. Websites like Chanel actually use this look, and some others do. And then here we have custom. So with custom, what you can do here is once you select custom, you'll click on card options. And this is essentially where you can rearrange all the elements to your liking. So if you want the title above the actual image, we can take that title, and then you'll now see the title is above the image. You can take the price and also put that above the image as well. And you can rearrange these to your very liking. And if you click on any one of these right here, you'll see that there's a little bit more options. Like you can add in more space. You can change the tag for the price. You can also, put in more space as well. And then for the product image as well, there's a lot more options for you. So you can check these out on your own free time. But I do hope that you all like these options. I felt like these are actually really practical, and we're constantly adding in more. We're just getting started. This theme is actually in alpha mode, so it's not really fully published, but I think by the time you're watching this, we're gonna have a lot of these features ready to rock and roll. So make sure to give us a nice review for the Solace theme. It'll really help us out. But once you're done with all those settings, you'll click on publish, and you can save all the changes that you made to your e-commerce store. But I'll just go ahead and click on the X, and I'll close out of this. Okay, and we're brought right back to our store. So now let's go ahead and add in the multi-vendor feature and install a free plugin to allow vendors to sell on our websites. Okay, party people, so at this point, our website is a fully functional e-commerce website. So we can, add products, we can design it. Now we need to integrate the multi-vendor feature. So we're going to install a free plugin called Dokan, and this will actually turn your e-commerce website into a multi-vendor store where people can come to your website, they can sign up, and they'll have the same exact options as you where they can list products and sell them on your store. So in this part of the video, we're going to install the free plugin called Dokan and turn your website into a multi-vendor store. Okay, so now let's install the free plugin to turn this into a multi-vendor store. So let's go to the back end here and click on Dashboard. We'll then scroll down to Plugins and click on Add New Plugin. Now for search plugins, we're gonna type in Dokan, D-O-K-A-N. And here's the plugin that we're gonna use. It is called Dokan. So it is a powerful multi-vendor e-commerce marketplace solution. So right here, we'll click on Install Now, and then we'll click on Activate. Okay, so once you activate the plugin for the first time, it'll bring you to this setup wizard. So right here, let's click on Let's Go. So right away, it's asking you what URL you want. So right here, I'm gonna put store. Now they put this by default, but you can put anything like, market and then their seller name right here. But typically store is like the default setting. You can always change this later. Right here are some setting options for your store URL, such as the shipping fee. So who will pay that? Either the admin or the vendor. And don't worry about all of this. You can always come back to this later in the general settings. So for right now, I'll click on continue. So next we have commission type. Now, obviously you can change this later. You don't have to make this decision right now, right? But there's two options. We have flat and we have percent. So a flat is a flat rate per item sold. So for example, if I put $3, the vendor will be charged $3 for every product sold, regardless of price. Then we also have percentage, and this will charge a percentage of the product total. So for example, if we put 10%, we will receive 10% from whatever the vendor sells. But I'll go ahead and put 30% right now. And here we have order status change. We'll talk more about this later. You probably won't understand what this means right now. So next we have order status change. We'll talk more about this a little bit later. You probably don't know what this is, and it's better if I just visually show you. So I'll leave that off for now and click on continue. So now we have withdrawal set up. Now, once a vendor sells product on your store and accumulates money, you can have withdrawal options. So you can use PayPal or even bank transfer. You can also use methods that aren't even listed on WordPress. I mean, you can use like TransferWise or cryptocurrency or whatever, but Dokan will keep track of everything for you, so don't worry. But I'll just go ahead and enable both of these for now. So next we have the minimum withdrawal limit, which is the minimum amount they have to have before requesting a withdrawal. Here we have order status for withdrawal. We'll leave this as completed. Processing means the order isn't really completed yet. Maybe the order hasn't received the actual customer, so I'll leave completed for now. And then click on continue. Here are some plugins that they recommend to try out. I personally use these plugins. I don't really recommend any of them, to be honest. I just felt they just really didn't add much value to the store. So I'm going to uncheck these right here and then click on continue. All right, cool. So now it says, congratulations, your marketplace is ready. Let's go ahead and click on visit Dokan dashboard. Okay, now you might get some notices here. So I do want to close these notices right now because they're going to get quite a bit. So I'm going to close this one. All right, they're just letting us know the latest. This is a one-time thing, so these won't pop up, all the time. They'll just pop up just the first time. And here is the Dokan overboard. Now here you're gonna see a list of your sales, the number of vendors signed up, how many product you have on the store, and then you also have an overview right here of sales, orders, and commissions. Now here under Dokan, you're gonna see a few more options, right? So we have withdrawal, reverse withdrawal, vendors, modules, pro features, and we also have settings. Let's go ahead and click on settings first. Okay, so here is the settings, and the first one is the general settings. So what I'll do right here is I'll go through each of these, explain a little bit about it, and then we'll actually jump into the actual vendor's point of view to see what the options really do. So here is the general settings. Now, I do recommend to turn this option on. This will actually prevent the vendors from seeing the back end of WordPress. So it'll actually bring them to their own personal dashboard without involving WordPress. So for example, I'll go ahead and just give you just a quick little example here. So like this is the actual vendor's point of view, and you see how the WordPress bar is gone. So they're not gonna be able to log in the back end of WordPress. They're only gonna be able to log in right here, where they'll see like a message you can create, and then their sales and stuff like that. And next we have the vendor store URL. This just changes the permalink right here for the vendor's store. So it's not that important, but you can always change that if you want. Here we have the vendor setup logo. I do recommend to add in your own logo. When we installed the Dokan plugin, you saw that wizard, and Dokan logo was the default image. I do want to use my own image and not Dokan's, so I'll go ahead and select this one right here. Here we have the vendor setup wizard. This essentially is the text that will show up when users sign up for the very first time. So you want to make sure that you add some text here that relates to your industry. So for example, thank you for choosing the marketplace to power your online store. This quick wizard, yada, yada, yada. So this is going to be the actual wizard that they see when users sign up. So, okay, so I went ahead and I adjusted this. I just said, hey, thank you for signing up with Retail Ridge. We are the leading markets. And I actually changed this to required. So they will have to go ahead and use the wizard right here to tell them that it is required. Now you do have an option to completely disable the wizard for new users, but I don't recommend doing that because users might be confused on where to go for the very first time. Okay. So next we have the vendor settings. This will allow vendors to create their own terms and conditions for their own products. It's up to you if you want to go that route. Typically the vendors will have to agree with your terms, but if you decide to allow this, the vendors can make their own terms for customers on your websites. Okay. I'll leave that checked just to show you where those options display. Store products per page. This will show 12 products per page. The next option is if you want to ask the vendor for their address, you can go ahead and turn that on right there. And the last option I recommend to turn on is the show vendor info. This actually shows the vendor's information when they click on the actual product. So I'll go ahead and turn that on and then click on save changes. Now really quick, let me explain what we just did so far. So we actually set the option here to showcase vendors on products. So you'll see on our products that we have John Smith right there. And quickly, let me show you the setup wizard really quick and show you where that logo displays. Okay, so let's imagine I'm a customer here and I want to register on the website. I'm going to click on my accounts, and you're going to see that we have the login, and then we also have register. So users can now register on your website as a customer or as a vendor right here. So what I'll do right here is just, quickly go ahead and just create an account right here for the vendor. And it's going to actually ask the vendor their name, their shop name, the URL, their street, and that's because we asked them for their address, and then their phone number and stuff like that, and they'll click on register. Once they fill this information out, it'll prompt them with a wizard. Okay, so I filled this information out. Now click on register. So now you're gonna see that logo here at the top that says Retail Ridge. So this is the exact process that your vendors will go through when they register on your websites. So you'll see the text also changed right here. So thank you for signing up with Retail Ridge, all this information. And they can go ahead and go to the setup wizard right here where they enter in their address. They'll enter in their payment information, right? And then I'll go ahead and click on skip this step. And then here, the vendors can go to their dashboard, and WordPress will create an account for them automatically where they can now sell their products. So I'll click on go to our store dashboard. And then right here, you'll see that the users can now have access to their dashboard right here. I'll click on products. And then they can click on add a new product, and then they can start listing products on your store. So I'll go ahead and show you right here. So this is a little interface of how they'll create products. And this is the same exact way on how to create products from the back end. It's just available here from the front end. But before we go into this too much, let's go back to the general settings. Okay, so we set up the general options, right? Now we have the selling options. So next we have the selling options. Now this is really gonna be up to your discretion. So this is gonna determine who is paying the shipping fee, who is paying the product tax fee, who is paying the shipping tax. Is it the vendor or is it us, the admin, right? Then you can also set the commission type per product. So right here, you can set flats. You can also set percentage here as well. Now there's also another feature where you can actually charge each specific vendor a commission rates. And we'll do that once we actually create vendors, but you can actually do that from the user section over here and then clicking on all users and then set a commission rate for them. But we'll talk about that after we have a few vendors. So I'll go ahead and show you these other options. So vendor capabilities. So this allows vendors to immediately sell on your website. This is a very important option to turn on or off. If you have this off, that means you must approve the items before they're created. And I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. So we're gonna turn this off for now. So here we have one product creation. Just leave this on. If you turn this off, it'll actually just prompt the user to create a new product in a new window, which I don't really know why you'd want to do that, but they have that option here. Order status change. I'll go ahead and turn this on and we'll talk about what that does in a little bit. Select any category. This will allow vendors to select any category while creating and editing products. You want to turn that on. And then at the bottom, you have the remove add to cart button, which could be ideal for catalog websites, but most of us are not running that. So we're going to leave that off and then click on save changes. Okay, now really quick, let me explain how you can set commission rates for each specific person. So here is my current vendors on my demo website. And let's say, for example, we have Johnny over here. So I'll go ahead and click on edit, and you can edit the information for all of the vendors on your websites. So I'll go ahead and scroll down. Here we can adjust Johnny's information. And remember, this is Johnny's info as he signed up on our websites. So here's a picture of him. We'll go ahead and scroll down. Now, if Johnny does not have a banner, or if there's an issue with him uploading his own banner, you can do that here. You can also input all of the vendors' info just in case they don't, but you should make that a requirement that they do because you don't want to have to be doing all of that for them. So individually, we can actually turn this on or off. So we can allow them to add products, and here we can actually let them publish products directly. Now, this is probably if you have a very trusted vendor that you trust, that you'll allow them to upload products and you don't have to approve them. So you can just go ahead and just let them publish as they go. Here you can adjust their commission rates, right? You can also combine it if you want to do that as well, right? So you can charge them a fee plus 8%. They should probably add the combined section in the options, right? But I don't know why it's here. They should probably add that for a general option, right? But I'll just say, you know what, Johnny, he's a very good seller, so he gets a better commission rate. So we're only going to charge him 20% instead of the 30%. And here I can mark them as a featured vendor, and then I'll click on update user. So that is how you can individually adjust all of the options for each of your vendors. So if you feel like some vendors are doing better than others, you can offer them better commission rates right here. Really quickly, let's go back over here to our options. So now we have withdrawal options. These are just withdrawal options for vendors. So here we have, you can charge them a percentage. So I know for PayPal, they do have like, interest and, you have to like, pay a percent. You can say, you know what, we're going to charge you a 3% rate plus like $5 or something, right? And you can do the same thing for bank transfer. So you can charge them like a $5 fee. For minimum withdrawal limits, you can change that to $50 or to $100 or to $1,000 and so on and so forth. Order status for withdrawal. This means orders must be completed before they can withdraw a request, right? Here, click on Save Changes. Okay. And next, let's go ahead and click on the reverse withdrawal. So next we have the reverse withdrawal settings. Now this typically is an option for vendors if there is an issue with the product down the road and you're forced to refund the customer. You do want to leave a balance for your vendors in order for them to pay that, right? To give you a visual example right here, this is the documentation for the Dokan plugin. And a good example of that would be they need to pay the balance first in order to keep participating with the store. So for example, if someone refunded something for $100, they will no longer be able to sell on your store until it's paid. And then later on, you can actually restrict them from even selling or doing anything on your website right here. So for example, let's just say, for instance, there is a threshold of $100, which means there's about like $100 in refunds they need to pay. You'll give them a 7-day grace period. If they don't pay it by then, you'll disable the add to cart button. You can also make their status inactive, which means they are no longer able to sell products on your store. And you can actually display the notice during the grace period on the back end right here. So later on down the road, once you refund products, it'll actually sync up with the vendors so then they can go ahead and pay the balance. So to give you a little demonstration here, I'll just show you where that's at. So here is the vendor, and then you'll see right here there is a reverse withdrawal. This will let them know if items have been returned that you were forced to pay, and here is the threshold, right? So they will be able to see if products were refunded. So under the list of orders, you'll see a list of orders right here. And let's say down the road there was a problem with this $5,000 order, which could be a real issue right here. I'll go ahead and click on the order. And right here, I'll go ahead and scroll down and click on refund. And this is where you can go ahead and refund it, right? So you can refund this via Stripe, which is the payment gateway, which we'll install later, or you can do this manually just in case you did a bank transfer. So that's how you can issue refunds, and then the vendor will be notified that there is a balance because you refunded it. Okay, so let's keep going. Next we have page settings. This essentially puts the settings for these pages like the dashboard, my orders, store listing, and terms and conditions. So basically the plugin will actually create these pages automatically like store list and dashboard, and then they'll go ahead and apply this, right? So for example, if we go over here and go to dashboard, so next we have site and stores page settings. If at any time you want to assign this to another page or create your own dashboard page, you can go ahead and do that here. But Dokan automatically creates a dashboard page for us, an orders, a store list. The only thing that we need to create is the terms and condition page. Now I do recommend to create a terms and conditions page. So if you ever want to do that, all you got to do is go over here to plus new and page. And then this will be your terms and conditions. I'll just go ahead and put in some content right here, right? And then I'll publish this. Now we don't need to assign this to the menu. I don't think most people do. You can always assign this maybe to like the footer of your websites, but I definitely would not put this on the main menu of your website. So let's go back over here to settings, and then we can now apply that page. So terms and conditions page. Go ahead and find the page, and voila. Okay, so next we have the appearance tab. So the appearance tab is generally referring to your vendors. So you can actually showcase a map of their store location on your website by turning this on. You can use Google Maps or you can use Mapbox. If you decide to use either, I do believe that you need an API right here. So you'll go ahead and you'll enter the API in here. If you need instructions on how to do that, you can go ahead and open this documentation. This literally takes like 2 or 3 minutes. But for most of us, I don't really think that we're going to be advertising other people's stores, so we're not going to do that. The next option is the Google reCAPTCHA validation. This actually isn't a bad option to add. So if you click on this right here, this will actually bring you to the page where you can go to your admin console. reCAPTCHA essentially tries to reduce spam, right? So for example, I'll put like I'll put multi-vendor, right? It's going to be V3. I'll put in my domain. Okay. And I'll click on submit. And here is the site key and the secrets. So you must have a Gmail account, obviously, in order to get these credentials. You can see at the top right, I'm already logged in, but I'll go ahead and put in the site key right here. And then the secret key. This does help reduce spam. I do recommend it. There's a lot of spam with WordPress. And even with like all these anti-spam measures, scammers are getting better and better at finding ways around it. Next, we have a way to display the store. So here you'll see a list of available store options where you can display vendors. So they have this one here, this one here, this one, and also this one. So for right now, let's just go ahead and select this one, and we'll talk more about this once we actually talk more about the vendor situation. You can choose to have an open and close time, which doesn't make much sense, just because your site's always open, right? You can choose to hide the vendor info, and then also enable the store sidebar from your theme if you want to have a sidebar, and then you can disable the font awesome, which I don't think is really necessary. So I'll go ahead and click on Save Changes. And then lastly, we have the privacy policy. And the last option is the privacy policy, which you might want to select a page for. And the last option is the privacy policy, where you can create a page right here for your privacy policy. This will let them know what their information is being used for, or if they want to opt out. And once you do that, you'll then click on Save Changes. Okay, so that was like the meat of all the options, right? You have these other options over here like withdraw, which you'll see withdrawal requests. You also have reverse withdrawals. Here is vendors, where you have a list of vendors. You can also create your own vendors right here by clicking on add a vendor. And let's say, for example, maybe there's an issue with the sign up process, or they don't have the internet and they can't, create a vendor. You can go ahead and manually create a vendor right here. So let's say you want to invite someone to sell. Go ahead and, put this right here, that image. Then we'll upload a banner. And then below that, you can fill in the details right here. Now, once you enter all this information in, your website will send them an email and it'll have their credentials for them. You can also create your own password for them, and you can log in directly on the website with this password, or you can just make your own, right? But I'll go ahead and click on next. Here they'll enter in their address, but I'll go ahead and click on skip for now. And then lastly, we have the payment options, which the user can always set up later, where they can enter the banking information and also their PayPal ID. So right here, I'll click on create a vendor. Okay, so that is how we can create a vendor. Next, we have modules. Now, these modules typically only work with the Pro version, so we'll be talking more about the Pro elements a little bit later in this video. Here is Pro Features, which does talk about some of the Pro features, which you don't really need to have, but I'll explain some of the cool features a little bit later. And then we have Help, and then we have Settings. So as of right now, we have successfully gone through all of the Dokan options. So now let's talk about how users will sign up on your websites and then sell products on your store. Okay, now in order to let vendors sell on your store, there is one option that we need to check, and then I'll walk you through how to create pages for it. Here under Settings, let's go ahead and click on General. Now, the very first option you need to select is Membership. So this will allow anyone to sign up on your website. So check that box, scroll to the bottom, and then click on Save Changes. Okay. Now over here under Pages, I'll click on All Pages. So here we have the My Account page, right? Now the My Account page is actually the page where people can register on your website. So under the account page, I'll click on edits. And you're gonna see that we have this WooCommerce My Account. Now, this is a short code that is created by WooCommerce. And this essentially allows users to log in and also register on your websites. So what I'll do here is I'll open up this page under a new tab. So right here, you'll see that we have this page, but I wanna log out of WordPress right now. So I'll click on log out. And here you'll see that they have the My Account section. Now on the My Account page, you'll see that the users can log in right here to the left side, or they can register and make an account. Now your customers can also register as a basic customer, and they can also click on I am a vendor right here, and this will allow users to register as vendors on your store. So wherever you place that short code, that's gonna be your sign up form for vendors. Okay, so now let's talk about the vendor perspective. Now the vendor can go ahead and create products right here under the products. They can also view their orders as well. They can request a withdrawal. Here is the reverse withdrawal. So if there's any like reversals, they'll go ahead and see it right here. And they also have the option to design their store. So here is the store options. And here they can upload their banner, their profile picture, update their address, and so on and so forth. Here they can go ahead and submit their payment details as well. So they can go ahead and add a payment detail where they can, put in their banking information. And they can do the same thing for PayPal as well, okay? So it's a pretty simple interface. I think most of the vendors will understand what's going on just by clicking around, right? Now let's go ahead and create a product. So over here, I'll click on products. I'll scroll down and click on add a new product. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a simple product. So let's say, for example, the vendor wants to create a product. So you'll see there's a product name, the price, they can schedule the sale, and here is categories. Now, just remember, the categories are created by you. So you create the categories, and then the vendors can then select the product categories they want to select, and the same thing with tags as well. So they'll have to select the tag that you have created for them, and you can do this from the admin section, okay? So I'll go ahead and put in users can also select the product gallery like we've done before. So if there's multiple variable images, they can go ahead and add those there. And then this is the main description. So I'll just put in this is the main description. And then I'll click on create a product. Okay. Now, once the user creates a product, it's going to be pending review. Now, just remember, you have the option to completely disable this and let users post automatically. But for brand new vendors, you might want to regulate what they're posting on your website. So let's go ahead and go back to the vendor now, or to the admin. And I'll go ahead and refresh this page. So here is the cool product. And I can actually just click on quick edit right here. And under the status, I can just publish this. Or you can just click on edits and just approve it as well. But you'll need to change the status to publish. And then right here, I'll click on update. Okay. Now there's also another thing that I want to show you all. So we already have some of these products created, right? You can actually assign products that are already created to vendors. So for example, we created the rare headphones earlier, right? Here under quick edits, I can actually assign this to a different vendor right here. So I can actually say, you know what? I made this product, but I made it for the vendor. So now we actually created that product for the vendor. So going back over here to the product section, you will now see that we have the cool product available and it is online. So you'll see right here that it's online, and we can go ahead and check this out in the store, right? So we'll go ahead and go to the shop page. And we'll go ahead and find the cool products, and there it is. Now, for some reason, there was a recent update with WooCommerce, and if it's your product, you cannot click on the add to cart. So they recently added that in, so that's not really, not really in my control. That's just how it is right there. So there is the vendor as well. And I believe also we do have that other product. So I think it was the rare headphones, right? Yeah, rare headphones as well. If I click on this, you will also see that Smithy also is now the current vendor for that product as well. So that's how you can, create products from the vendor perspective. You might have noticed that other product isn't displayed here, and that's because the product that we transferred over is a variable product. And the vendors can only create variable products and other type of products in the Pro version. So we sort of bypass the Pro version there. I'm not encouraging you guys to do that, but I'm just saying that that's the reason why it does display here. So the next thing I want to show you all is how to get rid of this dashboard section right here. So if you actually want to design this section, we can actually do that with Elementor. So let's go back over here. And what we can do is go over here to the pages section. And here we have the dashboard right here. So if I click on view, you'll see this is the page, right? But I actually want to get rid of this title, and we can even use Elementor on this page as well. And we can add in elements and add in all sorts of really cool stuff. So I'll click on edit page right here. Okay. And the next thing we'll do is we'll now click on edit with Elementor. This will enable us to use the page builder on the dashboard page. So the first thing I want to do is click on the gear icon, and under page layout, we'll select this to Elementor full width. And then we can design the page as usual. So right here, you see that there's this short code. So this is the form propagated by Dokan. So we need to add everything above that, right? So everything right here and below it, we can then go ahead and add more stuff. So I'll just go ahead and add in like a little welcome message here. So I'll add a heading. Put this in the centered. Let's go, right? And then I'll go ahead and use the flex box here to assign this in the middle, right? And clicking on this again, we can actually make this a little bit larger, right? And then maybe, I think this is already bold, right? Yeah, it's already bolded. And yeah, you can add in more elements if you want to do that. So you can put in like announcements, or you can add in anything you want. Here, click on publish. And I will view the page. And it'll look something like that right there, where you can go ahead and add in like, you know, the page builder above this and then below it. So this form right here is being propagated by the short code. So don't delete that, because then this form won't display. So going back over here to our accounts, I'll refresh this. And you'll see this is the new seller interface. I do like this. You know, I feel like it's very clean. It's easy to work with. And yeah, so that is how the vendor will go ahead and sell stuff and list products on his store. All right, party people, welcome to the WooCommerce section of this video. So in this part of the video, we're going to set up the WooCommerce settings. So we're going to integrate credit card payments, where people can start using credit cards on your website so we can start making money. We're also going to integrate the PayPal plugin as well, so people can pay you with PayPal. You can even allow credit card payments with PayPal if you want to go that route. We're also going to adjust the tax and also the shipping as well. So in this part of the video, we're going to take care of all of the money and the tax and the shipping and all that good stuff. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. Okay, so next let's talk about how to integrate payment gateways and also the WooCommerce settings. So let's go to dashboard here, and we're going to scroll down to WooCommerce and click on settings. So the very first thing we should probably do is enter in our address, right? So I'm going to go ahead and enter in a fictitious address right here. For the selling location, you do want to, let WooCommerce know what countries you sell to. So if you sell to all countries or to specific countries, you can go ahead and list them here. For example, if you only want to sell to Albania, you can go ahead and list that there. And then anyone trying to buy products from other countries will be blocked, right? But I'll go ahead and close that. And I sell to all countries. Why not? Here, I'll click on Enable Taxes and Calculations. We can also enable the use of coupon codes. Now, vendors can actually create their own coupon codes in their own dashboard in the Pro version, so that might be something to consider, right? Here, you can also adjust the currency as well from whatever currency you want to accept. And then once you're done with those options, you'll then click on Save Changes. Okay, the next thing is products. So there's really only one option for users here is you can actually change the shop page if you want. So if you want your shop page to be on a different page, you can do that. But this is going to be your default shop page, right? Here we have measurement units. This is generally what you might want to change. So in America, we use pounds and ounces, right? So we use, well, I guess we can use ounces, right? And then inches. I got in this whole debate with my buddy about whether the metric system or the imperial system is more accurate. And I don't know. I like the American system. I grew up with it. I feel like it's easier, but everyone's like, no, it's not accurate. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, you know? So next we can enable product reviews. And this is actually a very important option. So reviews can only be left by verified owners. So only people who have purchased the products can review the products, right? Makes sense? Okay. Next, let's click on Save Changes. Okay, and then here we have tax. So next, let's click on Standard Rates. So I know tax can be a little messy, right? But we're going to go ahead and show you how to do this with just one example or two. And then from there, you can set your tax accordingly. So I'll be showing you how to set up your tax with maybe one or two examples, and then you can set up your tax accordingly. So I'll go ahead and click on Insert Row. And here we have country code. So if you click on country code and scroll down over here, you'll see a list of available country codes, right? So AS, we have a BH, BE, and so on and so forth. So you'll enter the country code right here. So mine is United States, right? So US, right? And then the next we have state code. So in America, you know, we have a lot of states. So I'm gonna put an NV, right? And then here we have a rate. Now over here, I'll go to taxjar.com, which is a website that lets us know our state tax. So my state tax is 6.85%. So I'll go ahead and put it in right here, 6.85%. And then I'll go ahead and save those changes. Now, obviously, if we are selling to Europe, we might have to collect VAT tax or something else. So now let's say, for example, you are in Europe, right? So I know Europe is subject to VAT tax. So we can put something like BE for Belgium right here. And I'll go over here to eurofiscalist.com, and they do have a lot of the standard rates for a lot of these countries. So I'll go ahead and enter in 21%, which is crazy high. I mean, taxes in Europe are nuts, right? Like 21%, that's a lot of tax. I could be wrong here, but I do believe that this is the standard VAT rate per country. So I'll go ahead and go back over here and put in 21%, right? And then I'll go ahead and save those changes. Now, I do have a full-on shipping tutorial and tax tutorial with WooCommerce where we talk about the nitty-gritty between should you pay for shipping. Now, this is really only for American citizens because I'm in the United States. Depending on where you're from in America, you may or may not be subject to charge shipping tax. Now, there is another option. You can actually automate your taxes in America. So if you're too lazy to actually research everything, I do have another video right here where you can install a free plugin, and you can actually use this to enable automated taxes. This will automate taxes from taxjar.com. So you're using their API, and they will actually take the appropriate tax rates for you automatically. So all you gotta do is install a free plugin, and it literally takes like 3 minutes. You'll see right here, it takes like 3 minutes to install, and then your store will have automated taxes enabled on your store, okay? So I'll go ahead and leave those resources in the description. I know tax can be a tricky subject, especially when you're dealing with a multi-vendor store, but I'm just the middle guy here, but I'll provide as much resources as I can to help all of you out. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on Save Changes. Next, let's talk about shipping. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do is click on Add a Shipping Zone. And we're gonna put United States, right? And we're gonna put United States. There we go. Okay. Now, this is just an example. We're going to talk more about shipping classes and table rate shipping a little bit more, but this is a general overview about shipping. So here I'll click on Add a Shipping Method, and here I'll click on Flat Rates, or you can provide free shipping if you want to do that. So I'll click on Flat Rates. Now, is the shipping taxable? Well, it can or can't be depending on what state that you're from. So again, I'll recommends to go to taxjar.com. So going to taxjar.com, it does look like you will not be charged sales tax for shipping. So going back over here, I am not going to charge sales tax. And then I'll go ahead and put like a standard rate of maybe like $8, right? Here I'll click on Create and Save. Now, maybe we also want to create free shipping for users who spend like more than $100, right? So here we have free shipping. Now, free shipping requires what? Well, a minimum order amount of about $100. And then I'll click on Create and Save. Okay. So essentially what I've done here is I've set a default rate for, you know, my products on my store. And we also have free shipping available. Now there's another option that's very important, and that is going to be shipping classes. Now, depending on the product that you're shipping, it may cost more than others, right? For example, if you ship a fridge or a pencil, that's going to be very different shipping costs. So here we have different shipping costs, So here we have a bunch of different options, right? Now we're gonna put heavy here, okay? So this is for heavy items. Here, click on create. Next, we'll enter in medium. Okay. Like maybe under 50 pounds. Okay. And then we have like, you know, normal shipping. This is for smaller weight products. Under like 10, right? Under 10 or something like that. Okay, so we have these three products, right? Or these three shipping classes. So the next thing we'll do is now we'll go over here to shipping zones. And now we'll go ahead and click on edit right here. And then under flat rates, I'll click on edits. So now you're gonna see that we have more options, right? So what we can do here is we can set a flat rate of $8 for all of our items. And then we can add additional costs for items that are heavy or medium or normal. And vendors can actually assign these to their own products so that they don't have to, you know, pay out of pocket for shipping. So for example, heavy shipping will cost, you know, it'll cost $60, right? Medium shipping will cost $40. And normal shipping will just cost $10. And then here we have a no shipping class cost, where users can actually say there is no shipping for this product. Okay. And then here is the calculation type. And I do want to do per class. I don't want to do per order. I want to basically say, I want to assign this per item. Okay. So now I'll click on save changes. And I'll go ahead and click on save. So let me explain what exactly I did here. So I'm going to go over here to products and open this in a new tab and explain exactly what I did, because some of you might be confused. So for example, here we have the suit luggage, right? Now, obviously this is going to be a lot larger than an alarm clock, right? So there might be differences in shipping. Okay, so let's go ahead now and scroll down. And now let's say, for example, here I'll click on shipping. Now we understand that we've actually added in the shipping cost, but now users can go ahead and say, well, this is a very heavy product, so we're gonna charge them whatever rate that we charged over here, right, for the heavy, right? So I believe the heavy was $60. So if I actually select heavy, the user will actually be charged $60 extra. If I charge the medium rates, then the medium will be $40. And then the last one was normal, which they'll be charged $10 extra. Now, I do have another video where there is actually formulas where you can actually do something like charging per pound, and you can charge per quantity. I do have a tutorial on that as well, but I don't want to get into that because that's a little bit overboard and it's very technical. So I'll leave that tutorial in the description below of this video for those of you who want to go that route. So right here, I'll click on save. And that's just an example of the shipping classes. So now users can assign these per product. Now, I do want to reiterate here that in the vendors section, they won't have the option to add these in the shipping classes just yet. This is strictly a pro version. So if you do find yourself needing users to actually add in their own shipping classes and stuff like that, then that will be available in the pro, which I will talk about later. Okay, so now that we talked about tax and shipping, now let's go over here and talk about payments. Now, I do recommend two payment gateways. You can use Stripe and also PayPal. So over here, let's go over here to plugins and click on add new. Now, really quickly, I do want to talk about other payment gateways for users watching my videos in various countries. So if you are in South America, you can use Mercado Pago. So Mercado, this is actually a very popular payment gateway in South America. So right here, you'll see you can use this one right here. If you are on the continent of Africa, then you can use Paystack. So Paystack is Africa's probably #1 payment gateway right here. So you can go ahead and use that. If you are in the Middle East region, you can use MyFatura. I think it's here. Let's see if it spells it for me. Here we go. MyFatura. I think that's how you spell it. MyFatura. Yeah, there it is. Okay, you can use MyFatura, or you can use Authorize.net as well, right? You can use Authorize.net, which is this payment gateway right here. However, you can also use PayPal. PayPal is a global payment gateway that you can use, so you can actually use PayPal. I think most people watching this video can also use PayPal. So right here, you'll see WooCommerce PayPal payments. Let's go ahead and install this plugin here, and then we'll click on Activate. Okay. Now let's go back to plugins again one more time, and we're going to install the main plugin, which is Stripe. Stripe is actually the world's most popular payment gateway. I personally use this on my website, and it's really cool. Once you start making sales, they'll give you like loans, and they'll give you all these different benefits. Okay, and here is the plugin that we're going to use. It is Payment Plugins for Stripe WooCommerce. It is by the developer, support@paymentplugins.com. So right here, I'll click on Install Now, and then I'll click on Activate. And over here under WooCommerce, you're now going to see this new option right here called Stripe by Payment Plugin. Go ahead and click on that. Next, I'll click on Settings. Okay, so now we need to just go ahead and make an account with Stripe. So let me explain about Stripe. So Stripe.com is a free service. It does not cost you anything whatsoever. There's no membership fee. There's no sign-up fee. There's also no credit check whatsoever. The only thing they're going to take is a small transaction fee for every transaction, but I think that's standard for most payment services. And you do need a bank account, and you also need to verify your account. So once you go to the sign-up process, you'll go click on register, you'll make an account. And once you go to the sign-up process and you verify your account, it'll bring you to your dashboard right here. Now, I personally use this for my website. So over here, you'll see this is my account over here. And you'll see right here that, we've made $70,000 in the last few months, which is pretty good. We have failed 47,000. That always sucks. But hey, we made some money. So you'll go through the process and you'll make an account. And once you do that, all you have to do is just stay logged into the same browser, right? So I'm going to go back over here to WooCommerce. And then right here, you can choose test mode or live mode. It's up to you. But I'll just select test mode here. And then instead of entering this information, they made it really easy. So just click to connect. Here, I'll click on leave. And what they're going to do here is they're going to pull all the information from your account. So right here, I'll click on my testing accounts and click on connect. And just like that, your website can now accept credit cards. I mean, how easy is that? I mean, technology has made things so simple. Over here, we have live as well. So we have live and test. So we can use either one. If you ever want to test the connection, just click on connection test. This will verify the connection. You'll see right here, it was successful. Okay, so then I'll click on OK. Really quick, I do want to get rid of this little banner by Hostinger. So I'm going to click on continue setup and just get rid of that. All right, now they do have more options over here in the advanced settings. You can always go ahead and test these out, where if you want to add installments, you want to refund on cancel, and they have all these other options you can check on your own free time, right? But if you go to our website right now and we add things to the cart, you'll then see there is a form for a credit card. So let's open up our website on a new browser. Okay, so let's go shopping, right? So I'm a brand new visitor to the website. I have no relation, and I want to buy some stuff, right? So let's go ahead and check this out. Let's go ahead and maybe buy, let's buy these rare headphones. All right, next we're about to the checkout page. So here we can enter in our email address, our shipping information. Here we have free shipping, and then right here we can enter in a card number. Now this is just a demo card because we're in test mode. So I'll just enter in some random info, and then I'll skip this, and then just click on place order. And just like that, we have now received the order and everything is successful. Now your customers will get a purchase receipt, and you will also receive an email notifying you of a new sale. Here is the billing address and the shipping address. So that's how users can buy products on your e-commerce store. Now let's go ahead and check out our buddy's account over here. So I did buy his product purposely, and look at that, net sales $100. So you'll see that the vendors were notified about the actual order. Here you'll see the order is processing. Now they can go ahead and complete this. This is typically like once they actually ship it out. So they'll ship it out and they'll let the vendor or the admin know, and then they can complete it. And then there we go. We got a completed order. How about that? And then under dashboard, it shows that here is their earnings, which is $70. And going back over here to the admin's point of view, over here under WooCommerce, we can see orders. And now you'll see that that order has been completed. So the vendor has sold $100. And if you want to get more information, we can click on this order. And here is all the information that we need. So we have the address, the shipping, and then also we can refund it if needed. And this will actually refund them through Stripe. So you don't have to write them a check or anything. Everything will be fully automated through Stripe. Now let's go over here to our testing accounts. Let's go ahead and turn on the test mode. And you'll see today $100 has been recorded. So just remember, if you do want to enable real live mode, you'll just click on the checkbox there. This will show you real test transactions. And if you want to accept live credit card payments on your website, I mean, you can use your own credit card to test this out. Just go over here to settings, and then under the mode, just change this to live. Scroll to the bottom and click on save changes. So now your website is ready to take real credit card payments. All right, so congratulations. Now let's go ahead and install the second plugin, which was the PayPal. So scrolling down here, or did we already install it? Here, I'll check on installed plugins. Did we install it? No, we did not. Oh no, did we? Oh yeah, we did, duh. All right, so let's go back over here to WooCommerce and settings. Next, we'll click on payments. And this one's really easy, guys. Like even maybe easier than Stripe. I don't know, you can let me know in the comments. So we'll turn on PayPal right here, and then I'll click on Activate PayPal. So this will prompt you to a login screen, right? So it'll prompt you to a screen. Now, really quickly, let me go ahead and talk about PayPal. So this is paypal.com, and it is a global merchant service. I personally use this website. Now, I do want to mention that you need to sign up for the business. Now, the great part about PayPal is that PayPal is now free for business. They used to have a membership fee of $30 a month, but they now waived it, and now you can use their business account completely free. You will need to use this because this provides you with an API and the personal does not. You can always make both. I mean, I have 4 PayPal accounts, so yeah, it's not like a Shark Tank thing where you have to make a decision right now. You can always make one and then make another one later. But in order to integrate it on WordPress, you must have a business account. So you'll go through the process, sign up for free, and once you do, you can go ahead and log in. Okay, so I logged into my PayPal account, and over here, all I gotta do is go ahead and log in. Now, what's really annoying here is they prompt us to register, but you need to actually enter your own email right here, and then they'll prompt you to log in, right? So here's my business account. Yeah, so they're letting us know that we've already have it, right? So duh, so mrwilson@email.com. Go click on next. And just like that, once you enter in your credentials, they sync up your website with PayPal, and that's it. So you're all completely done. So I went to return to website. Now, if you use PayPal, give this one like 1 minute. So you can see it's loading here at the top. So just give it like 1 minute to load. Some people refresh the page, and then there you go. So now it's connected and everything is all good and set. Okay, and if you want to apply this for your checkouts, just make sure that it's activated in the payment section. Sometimes it doesn't. Like right now, you can see it doesn't. So I'll go ahead and turn that on. You can also use PayPal to accept credit cards. So you can actually use it instead of Stripe. It really depends on you. And now let's go ahead and check out our website and see if it's enabled. Okay, so I added a product to the cart. You'll see we have these options for express checkout. This is an option you can actually turn off in the options. But I'll go ahead and scroll down. You'll see right here we can now use PayPal as a way to accept credit card payments for our store. So next we have the WooCommerce emails. Now these emails are typically sent when users, have a new order, when they cancel the order, failed order, and so on and so forth. You'll see that this actually goes to the admin, and these right here go to the customer. If you do want to actually edit one of these emails, here I'll click on manage. So this is gonna go to the admin, and you'll see right here, it goes to this email, and it just says, congratulations on the sale, right? Now, I'll be very honest. The WooCommerce emails are pretty much terrible. In fact, you're gonna probably have to design these and decorate these. There is 2 plugins that you can use to make these emails look a lot more modernized, and I'll just show you these plugins. Now, I actually have a whole nother video on a WooCommerce email customizer. So this plugin right here will allow you to visually build your email. So you can see right here how it starts off as a boring email like this, and this is generally like the default one right here. And by the end of the video, you'll see that we actually turned it in to something a lot more modern. So we turned it into something like this right here, where you can actually add in images, and you can use like a full-on drag and drop builder to, you know, build out the section of your, you know, your emails. So if you want to use that plugin, you can use, I think it's called Email Customizer. I believe it is called Yaymail, or that's the developer that creates it. Yeah, this one right here. This one will allow you to visually build your emails for WooCommerce. So you can decorate them and you can make them really nice. You'll see by the screenshots, you can go ahead and use these to pretty much design your emails any which way you want with this plugin. If you're on the lazy side and you want something a little bit easier and faster, you can always use the Cadence WooCommerce Email Designer. This will actually change all of your emails into a more modernized version, but you cannot use a drag and drop builder, right? I personally recommend Yaymail, but just for tutorial sake, I'll just show you the Cadence one. So over here, we have the email customizer under WooCommerce now. So this is a new option after we install Cadence. And what we can do here is just use one of their pre-built templates. So this is gonna be the default email that's sent out. It's really ugly, you know, the colors suck, right? Or we can use like their fluid one right here, or their brands. And they have quite a bit we can choose from, right? So here they have a list of ones that we can use. So we have this one here, they have this one, they have this one, and they also have a new fluid templates. So they actually made like a new one right here, something that looks like this. And all you got to do is sign up and they'll give that to you for free. But I'll just go ahead and use one of these decent ones here. I'll click on load templates. All right, and once that's done, you'll see the emails changed. It looks a little bit better. Now there are some other options where you can adjust like the header and the footer, and these are other options here, but I'll let you explore those on your own free time. All right, so I'll go ahead and click on save, and then I'll close this. Okay, so the next option is integration, which I don't think we need to use anything. Here we have visibility. This will allow you to turn your website into a coming soon or a live mode. And then we have the advanced option, where you can assign a cart page, a checkout page, or the My Accounts, and then also your terms and condition page. You can also assign that right here. Terms and conditions, all right, and then click on Save Changes. Now I think that's pretty much it for the WooCommerce settings. I think I went over everything. Now the last thing that we're gonna talk about before we jump into the Pro is the email deliverability. You're gonna notice that a lot of these emails you're probably not getting, and that's because we need to set up a free plugin to incorporate the SMTP routes. So in this next part of the video, I'll be showing you how to make sure that your emails get delivered for your entire websites. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about emails. Now, out of the box, WordPress is pretty terrible with emails, and it's not really WordPress's fault. It's these providers that block them, right? So you may have noticed that all the emails that are coming from WooCommerce or are supposed to go to your vendors typically end up in spam, or maybe they're not delivered at all. So we're gonna create a business email, and then we're also going to set up the SMTP plugin. This will actually route the emails correctly to email providers and make sure that all of the customers and notifications are delivered to the correct emails. So in this part of the video, we're going to fix all of the email issues, and I'm also going to show you some really cool email customizers where you can design them and make them look like really cool for your store. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. Okay, now really quick, before we talk about emails, I do want to mention that now that you have your store fully active, you should probably add your vendors here to the menu. Now, when you install the Dokan plugin, it does create a page for you called Store List. So over here under Pages, I'll click on All Pages, and let's go ahead and find it right here. It is called Store List. Now, this is simply just a short code, so you can create a new page and add this short code to any part of your website or whatever. So here is the short code. It is Dokan Stores. You can also use Elementor on this page. So if you want to take a look at this page, I'll go ahead and just give you a little example right here. You'll see we have store list, and then also we have a list of our vendors right here. Now, if you want to get rid of the title, all you got to do is just click on hide title and then click on save. And then that should get rid of the title. Okay. And then here I'll view the page, right? And then you'll see here it is. And of course you can use Elementor, so you can add like your own, your own text, and you can build around this right here, but this is being propagated by a short code. So you can't use the page builder in between the modules, but you can use it above it and below it. So you should probably add this to your menu. So in order to do that, I'll first go ahead and just, I'll just put a quick little title right here. I'll add the title. I'll save this. And I'm going to add this now to our menu. So we'll go back to the WordPress logo. And then we'll go to Appearance, and then I'll click on Menus. Okay, so here's our menus. I'll click on Pages, and I'm going to add the store list over here. And you can always rename the store list. It doesn't have to be store list. I'll go ahead and move this over here, and I'll put this over here. This is just a demo. So you can change this to like our vendors or our whatever. So our vendors, and then you can save that menu. Now just remember that the navigation label will change for the user, but the permalink will not. So if you want to create like a new permalink where it says like dash our vendors, you'll have to make a whole new page. But if we go over here and take a look at our websites, you'll see that our vendors is now added to the menu, and if I click on it, it will then show a list of our vendors along with the products they have created. So if I click on a vendor right here like Smithy, we will see that we have Smithy right here, we have his info, and then also we have the products right here. Now, one thing also I should probably talk about as well is you can always allow reviews for vendors, and that is an option that you can turn on or off in the Dokan settings. So that is pretty much it for your multi-vendor store. Now let's talk about one of the very important things, and that is the emails. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a business email for your website, right? You can't be sending emails at gmail.com. This is not 1993, right? So what we're gonna do is we're going to create a business email, and then we're going to sync it up with our website and then add the SMTP plugin. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to find our domain. So my domain is daryltesting.com. So you'll see right here, this is, the domain. So I'll go over here to emails, and we're going to create a business email for this one. So I first want to set up a free email service. So right here, click on setup. And then for the domain, I'll select Daryl Testing, and then I'll click on confirm. I will use the Titan free email right here. Okay, now I'm using the Titan email. It seems like Hostinger switches back and forth between Hostinger and also Titan, but regardless of whoever they're using, you can always create free emails with Hostinger. So I'm gonna put admin@daryltesting.com. Here I'll make a password. Make sure that you do write this down. You will need this later, so just make sure you write this down. And then right here, I'll click on create a new account. And now I can access the webmail. So I'll click on access webmail. Okay, and then I'll log in right here. So now that we have our business email, we're now going to go back to Hostinger. Now over here on the left side, you'll click on emails, and then you're gonna see the email right here. So go ahead and click on manage. Okay, now the very first thing we're gonna do after we click on emails is click on email reputation. And right here, I'll click on add. And Hostinger actually automatically adds these DNS records to our domain. So I just want to click on that I have added these records and click on verify changes. Now this could take like a day, but you'll see it's verified. Now again, Hostinger does add these automatically, and this will actually help the deliverability of your emails. So let's go ahead and click on emails again and click on the email that we created. So over here, I'll click on manage. So now I want to add this specific email to our WordPress accounts. Now, really quick, I pulled up these credentials right here. So these are the credentials for the Titan email that we're currently using. And we're going to take these credentials here and we're going to add it into a plugin. Okay. So let's go back to our websites. And if you're not sure about what I just talked about, don't worry. This will all make sense after we install this plugin. So over here under plugins, let's click on add new plugin. And under search plugins, we're going to type in SMTP. Okay, now there's various plugins we can use, but I'll use this one right here. It is WP Mail SMTP by WP Forms. I'll click on install now. And then I'll click on activate. All right, so here's a wizard, and right here, I'll click on let's get started. I'm gonna scroll down and click on other SMTP and click on save and continue. We're gonna scroll down, and now you're gonna see this area where we should enter in some credentials. So going back over here to this document, I'll put this document in the description. So this is just like the information for the SMTP, right? So here is the host. So I'm going to copy this, go back over here. Oh, whoops, over here. I'll paste that in there. Now we need the port and the encryption. So let's go ahead and move this over here. So the port is 465 SSL, or if that does not work, we can always use that one right there. But we'll first start with 465 SSL. So SSL 465. We're gonna leave these checked. And now we're gonna enter in the credentials for our current email. So I'll enter that right here. So admin@daryltesting. I'll enter my password. And here you're gonna put from the name. So the name that the emails are sent from, I'm gonna put the admin. From email, the email address that emails are sent from. And we're gonna use our current email, the one that we created. So it's gonna be admin@daryltesting.com. And then here, I'll click on save and continue. All right, and here they're offering some other information. We don't really need it, so I'll just click on save and continue. Here, I'll go ahead and also skip this step. You can always opt in if you want, but I don't really need to. I'll skip this, and I'll also skip this. And now it's going to check our email configuration. It looks like we have successfully set this up. Now they're recommending their other plugins, but I'm gonna skip all of this and just click on finish setup. If you did get any errors with that, you can always go back over here to tools and try again. So going back over here to tools, settings. Here you can enter in the information. So here is the from email, the admin name, which we can, change that to Daryl Wilson or something like that. Scroll down here, and this is where you can enter in the credentials, okay? So I'll click on save settings. And now that we've done this, we now need to add this to our WordPress email. So I'll go ahead and copy this. And what we're gonna do is go over here to settings and general. And instead of using this generic email right here, we are now going to go ahead and use our business email. So I'll go ahead and paste this in. Scroll to the bottom and click on save changes. Now really quick, in order for this to work, you need to actually check the original email right here and confirm that you're changing it. So I'll open up my Proton email right here. Okay, so now that I changed that, I'm now going to check this email right here. And if I scroll over here to the email, you'll see I got an email confirming that I've changed the email address. So right here, I need to confirm it. So I'll click on this link right here. Okay, and now you'll see that the email has been updated, right? So now we're gonna use this email. So essentially what we've done here is we've created a business email, and now we've actually fixed the SMTP, so we should receive and send all the emails from the website with no problem. Okay, so we need to talk here. Now, if you want to create an auction website where only you as an admin list your own auction products, then then you can actually skip the entire Dokan section where you don't want vendors selling on your store. And I'll go ahead and leave a timestamp to the auction part in the description. You just need a plugin called WooCommerce Simple Auctions. I'll go ahead and leave a link to that plugin in the description. You can simply go ahead and purchase this and then upload it to your website. And then you can go to the timestamp section where I show you how to create auction products. Now, if you do want to enable other users to sell auction products on your store, you need to have the Dokan plugin, the Dokan Pro, and then also have the auction plugin as well. So just remember, the Dokan option will give you the ability to have vendors sell auction products on your store. However, if you only want to sell auction products yourself, you only need the plugin to allow auction products, and that is the WooCommerce Simple Auction plugin. Okay, so in this part of the video, we're now going to integrate Dokan and then also add the auction feature. So in this part of the video, we're gonna go to the Dokan website and then we're going to purchase the Pro version along with the auction plugin as well. And then I'll show you how everything works. You guys ready? Let's go. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about how to convert this website into an auction website. So on my demo website right here, you'll notice that we have a lot of auctions running. We have this one here, and so on and so forth. Now, I actually do have this in the description below, so you can go ahead and check out this auction websites. But this is essentially what it's gonna look like. You're gonna see that you have a product right here. You have a starting bid. You have the time left, and then you have a reserve price. Users can actually bid on it right here. And you can also set a buy it now price, right? So you can add all of this for your products, and vendors can go ahead and add these products as well from their store. So let's go ahead now and talk about what you'll need in order for this to work. And this might be a little confusing, and I'll do my best to explain it. So there is a link in the description of this video. It'll take you to Dokan.co. You'll need to get either the Pro version or you'll need to get the add-on for the auction plugin. So over here, I'll click on pricing. Now I may have a coupon code in the description. So when I get that, I'll also put that in the description. So you can actually get this pre-packaged with the business plan. Now I will be covering a variety of other Pro features, just not the auction feature. We'll talk about shipping features for your vendors and a lot of other things that you can do. So I will be covering the important features from the business. However, there's a much cheaper alternative if you want to go this route. So over here, I'll click on pricing again. I think it's under pricing. It's under the modules. And here it is. Okay. So you'll need to purchase the Dokan Simple Auctions. It's about 50 bucks. But you also need to have the Pro version. So you'll need to actually purchase this. Plus, you'll actually need to purchase the starter at least, right? So these are actually the lifetime. So you'll purchase the starter and the auction add-on, which will be $200, right? Or you can just go with the business, which is $500. You know, it really depends on what you want. You'll also need to purchase the additional plugin called WooCommerce Auctions. So you'll also purchase this plugin as well. So you'll purchase either the Dokan Pro, right? You got the Dokan Pro and the add-on, or you can get the business and then also purchase the auction plugin here as well. So what you'll do over here is you'll go ahead and upload these to your website once you have purchased it. So once you go ahead and select a plan, you'll go ahead and log into your account. So I'll go ahead and log in and show you where all this is. All right, so here is the downloads. You'll go ahead and upload the Pro version, right? So we'll go back over here and we'll go to DashBoard. And then under plugins, we'll then click on add new. Next, I'll click on upload plugin, choose the file, and then you will upload the plugin right here and then click on install now. Now, I already have this installed on my website, so it's just gonna let me know I already have it installed, but that's how you would go ahead and install it on your site. If you chose to just get the auction add-on, then you'll obviously just upload the Pro and then the add-on as well. And lastly, you'll need to also upload the WooCommerce Auctions plugin. Now, you can actually choose to just buy this only. And if you don't want a multi-vendor store, you can just simply use this. If you decide to have the multi-vendor feature like we've been doing, then you'll need to actually purchase this plus the Dokan Pro as well. So I'll go ahead and quickly log in right here. Okay, so once you do log in after you purchase this, you'll click on downloads and then I'll type in auctions, and here is the WooCommerce auctions plugin. You'll also go ahead and download this, and this is the installable WordPress file only. You'll then go back to your website and then upload this plugin in the back end. So I'll go ahead and upload this. All right, so I'll go ahead and upload this. So you'll do right here is you'll click on add new plugin, and then you'll also make sure to upload this plugin, choose the file, and then you'll upload the plugin like that, and then click on install now. And then you'll just install that plugin, right? So yeah, that's how you would upload the plugin. Now, once you decide, which plugin you want, or if you want to turn this into a solo auction website or multi-vendor store, then I'll show you how to start creating auctions. So let's go over here to the products. And then here we have all of our products, right? So now let's create an auction product. So up here, I'll click on add new. Okay, so we're first gonna give our auction product a name. So I'm gonna put something like alarm clock here. So alarm clock. Okay, and then we can use this obviously to create description for our product, but I'm just gonna skip that. And this is for auction, right? And we're gonna scroll down, and under here, under product data, you're now gonna see that we have a new option here called auction. So we have a few options, right? We have the item condition, which we can put new or used. We also have the auction type. So we have a normal and we have a reverse type. Now a normal auction is an auction where, it's like a normal auction like eBay, the highest bidder wins. And a reverse auction is the opposite. So the lowest bidder will win. This is typically for like jobs. If like someone says, hey, I have a job here, you can clean up my yard. We'll start at $100, and then whoever goes down to like the lowest, that person gets the job. So if this guy bids like $50 to clean the yard, then that guy wins the prize, right? So that is what a reverse auction is. So next we have the option for proxy bidding. Now proxy bidding is essentially allowing users to set the maximum bid, so they don't have to keep coming back to their computer and like bidding, right? So for example, I'll just be like, you know what, the most I'm willing to pay is $1,000. So I'll put $1,000 on this auction. And if it goes over that, then whatever, I lose, right? But with proxy bidding, users don't have to be on the computer and constantly like, hitting the bid button, right? They can set it as their max bid and then walk away, right? So here we have the start price. We'll put $100. And the bid increment, so this is saying, what bid increments do you want people to bid on? Well, I'm gonna say $10. So that means they can bid at $100, $110, and $120, and $130, and so on and so forth. The reserve price is the lowest you're willing to take for the actual item. So I'm gonna say, look, the lowest I'm willing to take is $150. So if the auction does not have a reserve price of $150, then the auction will just be relisted again until someone purchases it. Here we have the buy it now price. So you can have a buy it now price, which is saying, look, I'm willing to say, look, tell you what, if someone's willing to buy this product at $140 right away, then we can just go ahead and sell the product right away and skip the auction, right? So there is an option for a buy it now price. And then here we have the auction dates where you can set the dates for the auction, right? So I'll go ahead and set the dates right here. Click on done. And then here we have extend auction on bid. So that means basically saying, if you don't have proxy bidding, or if someone's actually waiting for the very last seconds, if someone bids at the very last seconds, then the clock will actually add a few more minutes on the auction, right? So it won't end right away, right? So for example, if someone decides to bid at the very last seconds, then you want to extend the auction for how many seconds, right? So extend auction in last 30 seconds, and then the auction extends for how long, right? So I'll put something like 60 or 600 seconds, which is about, or no, we'll do 300 seconds, which is about 5 minutes, right? So it gives the actual last bidder time to actually make a decision, right? And then here we have some short descriptions. I'll just go ahead and enter something in. All right, so I'll go ahead and throw this in. Now, what's really cool is this integrates with the Dokan plugin. So you can actually assign this to different vendors if you want to go that route. And then lastly, we have automatic relist auction. So you can actually choose to relist this automatically. Relist if fails after 1 hour. So you'll relist the auction if the auction didn't complete, right? So you'll relist it in 1 hour. If the actual seller hasn't paid, right, in maybe like 24 hours, then the auction will be relisted again, right? And then we have the relist auction duration, which I believe is setting the hours for the next auction. So basically saying once you relist it, this auction will be good for 24 hours again, or you can put like 48 or something like that, right? All right, and then if we scroll up here, we'll go ahead and add in a product image of this alarm clock, and we'll set the gallery actually, we don't need that. Go ahead and put in the technology right here. And then we'll go ahead and click on publish and take a look at our new auction item. Okay, so we have the alarm clock right here, the time left, we have the reserve price not met, and then right here, people can actually bid on this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and we'll knock this up to 120, and then I'll click on bid. Now what's really cool is if you open up another browser right here, this will actually sync up with the rest of the website. So I'll give you an example really quick. So I'll go ahead and go over here to the same, and it lets users know that people are bidding. And let's say, for example, I want to bid to 140 and go over here. Now you'll see it jumps to 140 right away, and the reserve price has not been met yet. So let's try it one more time. I think the reserve price is 150, right? Yeah, there it goes. So the reserve price has been met. Now it shows that, and you know, that's how all of this works, right? So that's an example of how you can create an auction product. Now your vendors will also have the same ability. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these vendors. Okay, so now let's talk about how you can let vendors also sell their own auction products on your e-commerce store. So in order to achieve this, just remember, you must have the Dokan and the Dokan PRO. You must have the Dokan extension for auctions, or you can just get the business plan. Then you must also have the Simple Auctions plugin as well. So going over here, I'll click on modules. And the first one is the auction integration. How about that? So all you got to do is go ahead and turn this on. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go over to Greg's store, and we're going to list an auction product. All right, so here is Greg's store. I'll refresh this page. And now you're gonna see this section right here that says auction. So I'll click on the auction tab. And here is a list of his auction products, right? So right here, I'll click on add new auction product. And now we can create a auction product, and this will be listed and published on the store just like any other product that we've created. So I'll go ahead and fill this out. Okay, so here is the auction product. Now, if I scroll down, you're gonna see general options for the vendor. So we have this same exact option. So we have new and used. We can set a normal or a reverse auction. I'll be showing you a reverse auction in the very next section, but most of you are probably running normal auctions, but just for tutorial's sake, I'll walk you through reverse auctions in just a bit. Here we have proxy bidding, and I've already explained that earlier. So over here, I'll put a starting price of $10. The bid increment is $1, and the reserve price is 15 bucks, and the buy it now price is also $15. Here we can select the auction date and then the end dates. We can also choose to enable automatic relisting, just like before, right? And then here we can go ahead and adjust the shipping and the tax and everything else, just like the other products. Over here we have other options. So I'll put this is a baby bottle for babies, you know, made in USA. I don't know, whatever, made in USA. Okay. And then right here, I'll click on save product. Okay. And now it's pending review. So now I'll go ahead and approve it from the admin side. Okay. Going over here, I'll click on all products. And then right here, you'll see it's pending, so I have to review it. Now remember, you can always take this off. You can have vendors automatically publish without approval, and you can adjust that in the Dokan settings. But right here, I'll just go ahead and publish this and update it. All right, now let's take a look at this product. Open this in a new tab, and voila, we now have the cool bottle. You'll see it is $10, and it is from Greggy's store. So that is how you can also let vendors sell products on your store. Now just remember that this is in conjunction with several plugins. I do realize that it can be a little costly, but running a multi-vendor auction website does require a lot of features and functionality on a website. If you were to try to program this yourself, you would easily spend probably like $20,000 to $50,000, but with WordPress, you can do it for just like under like $200. It's really cheap. So anyways, so now that we talked about the auction product, now let's talk about the last feature, which is the reverse auction. So let's go back to the products, and then I'll click on add new. Okay, so there are some products that may, qualify for a reverse auction, and that is going to be probably generally contracts is the only thing I can think about. It's basically the lowest price you're willing to buy something, right? So I'll go ahead and put in school cleaning, right? Here I'll just throw in some, here I'll go ahead and put in just some content and then here I'll throw in some AI content, and we'll scroll down, and for product data, we're gonna select auction. And now we're going to select the reverse auction, right? So the starting price, we're gonna put $10,000, and the bid increments, we're gonna put maybe like 200 bucks. Okay. Reserve price, we're just gonna leave that blank, and then I will go ahead and select a date here. Okay. And then this is a contract for winning schoolwork or something like that, right? So it's just like a contract, right? So generally, people will go ahead and try to aim for the lowest bid. Now, that's not the case for everything. That's a whole nother conversation, because I actually used to bid for government contracts for a roofing company, and it's a little different, but just for tutorial's sake, we're just gonna pretend that the lowest contract wins the bid, which can be the case, but not for everything. All right, and I'm just gonna select a random image here because I'm honestly running out of images. I don't even know what to put anymore. So we'll just put this shopping cart, okay? All right, we'll put a shopping cart. We'll go ahead and select a category right here. And I think we're all ready to rock and roll. So I'll go ahead now and just publish this. Okay, and then we'll view the product. Okay, so here is the product right here. And what we're gonna do here is we're going to log in from Greg's point of view, and we are now going to bid on this contract. Okay, so here we go. So now Greg is going to say, all right, I wanna bid on this, right? So the starting bid is $10,000. I'm gonna bid $9,500 and then click on bid. And now you're gonna see that the current bid is actually falling down, right? So now you'll see that the bid increment is $200. So, but you get the idea, right? So the next person will actually bid lower than me, so they can bid 9,000 and so on and so forth. So instead of the price going up, the price goes down in reverse auctions. Now, real quick, when building your website, you typically also need to start your email marketing campaigns. Gathering subscribers is a great way to generate money from your website. Email marketing alone has the highest conversion rate compared to any other type of paid marketing on the internet. Now, I know picking an email provider can be very overwhelming. I've been through a ton of them, but there is one I do recommend. It's very affordable and it's great for beginners. It's called Omnisend. Omnisend is a free email automation tool that you can use to set up free campaigns for your customers. Omnisend also has really nice pre-built email templates with high conversion rates. You simply insert the templates, add your company information like your logo, your name, and you're all set. You can send out automated emails from your website based off days, weeks, or even months to remarket to those same customers who visited your websites. And I personally use email remarketing for our abandoned carts on my website, darrellwilson.com. We actually see a 10 to 15% increase in revenue just by simply sending out some automated emails to convert those customers who couldn't take the action to buy something on my website. And lastly, Omnisend offers SMS marketing notifications, which will send out text messages to your subscribers regarding upcoming sales or promotional events. So if you are interested in Omnisend or finally starting your email marketing journey, I will leave a link to both and I'll put those in the description of this video for you to check out later. And with that said, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. So as of right now, you have a fully functional multi-vendor e-commerce store. Congratulations, right? However, there is a pro version for Dokan, and the pro version does give you a lot more features. Now, it's not required to upgrade to the pro, but typically if you're really serious about a multi-vendor store, you really want all of the features, right? So in this part of the video, we're gonna cover the more important features of the Dokan PRO plugin. I also do have a discount code for Dokan PRO, and I'll leave that in the description as well. So in this part of the video, we're gonna go to the Dokan websites. We're going to upload the plugin to your store, and then I'll show you some vital features that come with the Dokan PRO version. Now, obviously there's probably 30 or 40 modules with Dokan, so there is a lot of features, but I'm only gonna cover the most vital ones. But there are some very important ones like handling returns, which is a very big one. This will allow vendors to handle returns on their own behalf. You can also build your own custom store in the Dokan PRO version as well. And also there are a lot of shipping options to extend the shipping functionality for your vendors. So in this part of the video, we're gonna talk all about the Dokan PRO version. Are you guys ready? Let's go. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Dokan Pro version. Now, before we begin, there is a link to Dokan in the description below, and this will take you to the Dokan websites. So it'll take you to this page right here. They typically update their page quite often, so hopefully it looks like this in the future. If not, just try to find their pricing page, which is where we're going to go. So over here under products, we'll click on Dokan WordPress, and let's go ahead and click on Get Started Now. And this will take you to the pricing options. Now, I do believe I have a coupon code, so I'll go ahead and leave that in the description as well. So if you do purchase any of the plans, you can use that coupon to get a really big discount. But first off, these are not the right prices. Just click on the annual, and then they drop significantly, right? You're like, oh my God, that was so expensive. So they have two different types of plans. They have the annual and they have the lifetime plan. The lifetime, obviously, you pay one time and you never pay again, right? Annual, you'll have to pay every single year. But I think this is probably the better option if you're getting started out. But if you are already like a multi-vendor place and you want to switch over to WordPress, the lifetime would probably be a good deal for you. So I need to explain these pricing plans in detail to make sure that you pick the right one for your store. Now, personally, the best plan to get for all the features is the business plan. The enterprise plan and the business plan virtually has no difference whatsoever. The only difference is that you get more support, right? So if that's what you like, whatever, right? So let's go ahead and scroll down right here. So what they've done right here is they list the plans and they actually have what you get and what you don't get with every single plan. So the free one, obviously, you can easily start your store with the free version, right? But the biggest drawback with the free versus the paid is that vendors won't be able to create variable products. They cannot create group products. They don't get access to admin reports, earnings reports, and so on and so forth. So just by having the starter right here, you do get a lot more options as far as options for your vendors, and also you get all of these supports. These statements, and you also get the coupon creation, so vendors can go ahead and create coupons. However, the one that we're going to talk about moreover is the business plan. So the business plan, there is a pretty big difference, and there's some key differences between the business and the professional that I do want to talk about really quick. So we're going to scroll down right here, and one of them is product advertising. Now, I've actually written this down, the best ones to get. Product advertising allows vendors to pay for you to promote their products. So if they pay you, then their products will go up in the list. Companies like Amazon do this, right? So I will be covering product advertising, and this is only available in the Pro. So go ahead and click on Buy Now and go ahead and purchase a plan that works best for you. Right here, I will have a coupon code. So just give me a little bit. I'll go ahead and create a code So just go ahead and give me so if I do get a coupon code from Dokan, I will go ahead and leave that right there, right? Where you can go ahead and put in the code and you'll get a discount on your product. You'll then click on Checkout and you will go ahead and purchase this product. Now I have personally already bought this product, so I'm going to go ahead and log into my accounts. And here is the Dokan Pro. You can see that I've used these guys for quite some time. So I've used them back in 2022, and then I got their recent version right here. So I'm going to go ahead and download this. All right, so it's going to download this little zip file, and what you're going to do is you're going to take this and upload it to your WordPress websites. I don't know why it's going so slow here, 0%. What's going on there, huh? Oh, okay, download complete. Weird. Okay, it went from 0 to 100 in like 1 second. We also do need a license code. So here is the licenses, and you will need to take that and paste it on your website in order to activate the plugin. So let's go over here to our website now, and we're now going to upload the Pro version of Dokan. All right. Plugins, add new plugin. Upload plugin, choose the file, and then here is the Dokan business, and then I'll click on Install Now. And here I'll click on Activate Plugin. Okay, so we installed the Dokan Pro, and now let's go over here and let's click on License. So you'll go ahead and copy and paste your license. So you'll go over here and you'll click on Licenses. All right, so once you paste your license, it'll let you know that it has successfully activated. You'll refresh the license, and voila. So now that you've done that, the very first thing is, I think in the settings, you do get a little bit more options. So I think they turned some options on. You know, you get a little bit more right here. So you can configure the API for social login, email verification, and they also have shipping status as well, where you can allow shipping tracking. So make sure to check these options right here, where you can go ahead and turn some of these options on. It's hard for me to know exactly where they turned it on, like what features you get exactly. There are a few, but not too many. Now, majority of the pro features lie in the module section. So right here, you'll see modules. And this is where you pretty much can pick what you want to use, right? So as you can tell, they have a lot of different modules. And with this specific plan, I can use all the modules, right? Now, I went ahead and I really thought about it. And I picked probably, let's see right here, I picked 6 features that I think are probably 6 or 7 that I think are really important, right? So let me go over those features. Okay, so in order for me to explain exactly what's going on over here and where the features are active, we're gonna switch over to my other demo website over here and we're gonna explain. Now, the very first option that I think is probably pretty useful is the seller verification. So right here, you'll see verification where the user will go ahead and click on this and they'll actually need to verify their store. So they'll go ahead and put in their verification. You can choose what you want, right? You can choose what you want to upload and stuff like that. And once this is done, you'll actually receive a little notification with the user's information. Okay, so I uploaded this file and this typically would be like the ID or something like that. So right here, I'll click on submit. Now going back to the actual vendor, so if I refresh this page right here, you'll see verifications and you'll see that the the vendor right here is verifying his information. So here he put in his ID, and once I click on this, you'll see the picture of their ID or whatever it is you're trying to verify. Now in order to turn that on, you'll click on modules and we can just type this in. I'll just type in ID. Oh, no, here. So we can just type this in. I'll put verify, right? So vendor verification, you can go ahead and turn this on, right? So that is one of the pro features that I think are really worth it. Now you can actually go through this and see what you want to, what's good for your store. Personally, I think that the shipping and the product add-ons is very important. Also, when you get the pro, your sellers also get a lot more reports. So let me show you the reports. So going back over here, if we go to dashboard, you'll see that now the user has a lot more options, right? So here they have products. Now also remember, for their products, now we can create different type of products. So before, we can only create simple products, right? Now for the product type, users can create variable products, external products, and also group products. Variable products are very important, and we did show you how to create one earlier. And this is where they're going to go ahead and create their variable product. So I think it is right here, where they can add in their own attributes and so on and so forth. So now that you know how to create variable products, you can show your vendors how to do so, right? But scrolling back over here, you'll see that we have reports. So now you can see that they have, the sales by day, top earning, their top selling product, and they have their own statements. And they do have a lot more options right here. They also have followers. So now that people can follow them as well. So they do get a lot of overview statements right here. Also in the settings, you'll see there's a lot more. They can, mess with their social profiles. They get store SEO, which they can go ahead and optimize their store for the search engine. And this is really cool because now you don't have to do this. They can do everything for you. And you can make this like a requirement to be on the store. And they have a lot of other options right here, return requests, and so on and so forth, right? So let's go ahead and talk about one of the next features, and that is going to be the badges. So right here, you'll see there is this new option right here for badge. And you can create your own badges, which is really cool. And users right here can actually show off their badges on their seller profile. So you'll see right here that Greggy's store has achieved a badge for publishing more than one product. And you can make as many badges as you would like. And these will display on the user profile, which I thought was really cool. If you want to turn those on over here, we can type in badge and you'll see seller badge right here. So that's also a pretty cool feature. Next, we're going to talk about one of the more important ones, and that is product advertising. So I'll go ahead and type in advertising here, and you're going to see advertising. So this is the product advertising. So you'll go ahead and turn this on. Now, once you turn this on, we'll go ahead and go over here to settings. And we'll scroll down, and now you're going to see an option for product advertising. This will essentially allow you to boost up products on your store. So right here we have enabled slots, right? So this is how many products can be advertised. So you do want to set a limit, I guess. I mean, it depends on how large your store is. I mean, obviously for large stores, there's no limits, but you can create like a scarcity for your vendors. You'll basically tell your vendors, you know what, we only have 10 spots, right? 10 spots, and after that, you have to wait it out, right? But maybe, you know, allowing everyone to advertise would be good for you, right? So here we have expire after days. So how many days will this last? Well, I'll put 10 days, right? Vendors can purchase advertisements. You want to check that box. Here we have the advertisement cost. So what does this cost to advertise? Well, I'm going to put $5, right? Here you can actually allow vendors to put this on a subscription. So if you have this checked, they can go on a subscription. Well, they'll pay you every single time after their subscription is over, right? Mark advertised product as a featured. So you can actually let users know that products are featured products on your store if you want to go that route. Go ahead and check that, and then I'll click on Save Changes. So once you enable this, vendors can now go ahead and advertise on your store. Let's take a look at Greg's store now. So let's see what's changed over here really quick. Go over here, and up here, I'll click on Products. I don't know why it's doing that. I think it's just a caching thing, weird. So right here, you'll see this advertised products, and you'll see that all of these products right here are not advertised. Now, if the user wants to advertise on your store, I'll go ahead and click on this one here. And this will basically say, we will advertise this product for 10 days for $5. Do you want to advertise this? I'll put okay. All right, so now it's been added to the cart. Greg's redirected to the checkout where he is now going to have to pay for this with his own credit card, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and select the debits because we still have this in test mode, right? Okay, and then I'll place order. And just like that, the product is now advertised. So you'll see Greg has a purchase receipt where he is now advertising the comfort sofa. Here is the vendor, and here is all of his information. So that is a really easy way on how to make more money for your store. So now let's check out the advertisement. So going back over here to the admin point of view, if I click on advertising, we will now see that the user has purchased this. So you'll see that the comfort sofa right here is now advertised, and you don't need to do anything whatsoever. You can actually restrict it. So if you want to cancel the actual advertisement, you can go ahead and do that. So in order to do that, all you got to do is go back here and click on the expire button, which is right here. And this will expire the actual ad, right? But let's go ahead and take a look at the store and actually see if this is working or not, right? So let's go ahead and go to, okay, so let's go ahead and go to my shop page. It looks like I took off the products off my menu. Silly me. Let's type it in here. So dash products. And the first item that should come up is the sofa. So there it is, right? Comfort sofa. You'll see that it pops up the very first slots because the user is paying for it. And you'll see Greggy's store is right there where, you know, we have all their info, and yeah, so that is a really cool feature. It's very simple, as you can tell. Everything's automated. You don't have to intervene at all, and it's just a great way to make more passive income. So next, let's talk about one of the cool features, which is product add-ons. So we're gonna go over here to the modules right here, and we're going to turn on product add-ons. Now, I highly recommend to turn this on. It's a really cool feature. So I'll go ahead and turn this on. Okay, so once we activate it, now we have to go ahead and buy the plugin. So this is the actual product add-on plugin. It is from WooCommerce. It's about $80 and it is a little expensive, but you know what? I'll give it to you all for free. So there is a zip folder in the description. If you want to go ahead and access that, you can just upload it to your website. So you don't have to pay for it. You can go ahead and test it out. And if you feel like you really want it on your store, then I would recommend to buy it from the original developer, but I will give you a free copy in the description. The only drawback is that you won't get updates for it. So, I mean, I don't think you need updates, but if you do, then, you know, you'll miss it. So you can always buy it from the original developer. So I'll go ahead and put it again in the description below. It is the product add-ons plugin. Here I'll upload the file, choose the file. So here is the file. I'll click on open and then click on install now. Here, I'll click on Activate Plugin. Okay, so once we install that plugin, now let's go take a look at the vendor's dashboard over here. So I'll go ahead and open up the vendor's screen right here, and we'll click on Products. And now I'll go ahead and edit this comfy sofa. I mean, we should, because we're advertising it, so we probably want to add add-ons to it, right? Once we do that, we'll go ahead and scroll down here. Scroll down, and now you're going to see add-ons. And what's really cool is users can now create their own custom add-ons. So right here, I'll click on Field. Now here they have a few options. They can do multiple choice, checkboxes, text, right? But I'll go ahead and select checkboxes, right? And this will be like gift wrapped. Okay. And then I'll leave that as a label. Here we add a description. So gift wrapped your products. Okay, gift wrap your product. And then we'll put gift wrapped. And then for the flat fee, we'll put $5 extra, right? So that is just one of them, right? So essentially what we're doing is we're offering them to, we're offering a $5 upsell to have it gift wrapped. And we can add another one. In fact, you can add as many as you'd like to your products. So the next one I'll do over here is I'll do check boxes, and this will be like insurance. All right, so we'll add a description, 5-year warranty for sofa, right? For sofa. And then over here, we'll put one, or actually we'll do here, we'll put like a, we'll just put a warranty, and we'll let them pick the years, right? So we can, charge them more money, right? So here's $100. We have another one right here, which is 5 years, and this will be $200, okay? So yeah, that is pretty much it. I'll go ahead and scroll down here to the bottom, and then we'll save the product. Okay, now it's pending review, so I'll go ahead and approve it, and then let's take a look at the product. So I'll go ahead and open this in a new link. Okay, so now you'll see that we have a lot of add-ons, right? So here we have the comfort sofa, right? But they can have it gift wrapped right here, and insurance warranty for sofa. I can also go ahead and check like, $100 or whatever. And you're gonna see that the cost of the product goes up, right? So I added in the warranty for a year and gift wrapped. I probably should have maybe not added description, or I think that actually looks a little weird, right? So maybe not add description, but you can mess with it and fiddle with it and see see what works best for you. So I added those 2 check boxes, and then I'll click on add to cart. So once we add it to the cart, you will then see that, these have been added, right? So the subtotal now is $572. And if I click on view carts, you will now see that the total is $572, and that's because it is gift wrapped, and they also purchased insurance for a year. So I do think the product add-ons is really worth it. I understand that it might be a costly plugin. I will give it to you for free, obviously, but you can see easily how this can pay for itself in just like 1 or 2 sales, right? So that is an add-on I think that is worth getting, is the WooCommerce product add-ons. Let's talk about the next one, which is the shipping class, which is actually a very important one. So let's go back over here to Dokan, and earlier in this video, I did show you all about how to set up shipping classes. Well, now you can let vendors actually set up their own shipping classes. And over here we have shipping, and we're gonna add some shipping zones. So this is the first thing that you'll have to do. So over here, you'll see add zone. And then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put vendor zone, or vendor shipping class. Here I'll put vendors, and then I'll put United States. Okay. And this will actually go to United States, right? So United States. All right, so USA. Okay. And then here I'll click on add a shipping method. So now we have this option for vendor shipping. So I'll click on continue. And is this taxable? It really depends, but I'm just gonna put no, because I don't really know their circumstance. Okay, so now that we created a shipping zone, now we need to create shipping classes for our vendors. So I think it is in the Dokan shipping. I think this is it. No, it's not. So it's right here under classes. So we're going to create some classes now for our vendors. And this essentially will allow vendors to price based off the category, right? So add a shipping class. We're going to put, we'll put heavy. Okay. Heavy products. Right. And you can create as many as you want, right? But I'll just create 3, right? We have heavy, medium, right? Medium size. And then we also have like small, right? So here we'll put small, and then create, right? So now that we have these shipping classes, now let's go ahead and go back to Greg's store and see what options we have available. Okay, so we're back here on the vendor store, and let's say Greg now wants to adjust the shipping for his products, because you saw earlier how we have a sofa, right? I mean, you have to charge more for shipping when it comes to a sofa, right? Duh. So over here under settings, we'll click on shipping. Okay. And what we're going to do here is I'm now going to go ahead and add a shipping method. So you'll see the vendors United States appears. So right here, I'll click on add a shipping method. And then we'll select the states. So let's say, for example, we're operating in, I don't know, let's pick Nevada, right? So Nevada. So we'll go ahead and select Nevada. And next, I'll go ahead and click on add a shipping method. And then right here, we can pick free shipping, flat rate, or local pickup. So I'll select a flat rate. And then I'll click on add a shipping method. Okay, so now we have a flat rate. So now we need to adjust the flat rates. So what does the flat rate actually cost for your products, right? So on average, we're gonna charge a flat rate of about $7 for our products. Okay, $7. Now, here I'll put, the description right there. But now we have the shipping class cost. And this is where we can actually assign the shipping class cost per product, right? So what I'm saying here is we will always have a $7 flat fee. However, we are going to charge additional, fees if it's heavy, if it's medium, or if it's small, right? Now there is some formulas right here that you can take a look at. I'm not gonna really talk more about formulas because that can get really crazy, right? But we'll talk about table rate shipping in the very next section. So heavy products are gonna have a shipping cost of $50, okay? Next we have medium. Medium products are gonna have a shipping of $30, and the small is going to be $10 extra, okay? And no shipping class cost, we're going to put nothing there. And then right here, I'll click on save settings. Okay. You can also add free shipping as well. So if your vendors want like free shipping right here, they can say free shipping is allowed, but they have to spend a certain amount of money, right? So they're gonna have to spend a minimum of, let's see here, a minimum order amount of $200, right? That gives them free shipping, okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and actually, we should probably put like, I don't know, $800, because I think I'm gonna add this to the cart, the sofa, right? So now I'll click on save changes. So now that we've had that shipping method available, now let's go ahead and go to our products, right? So over here under products. Okay, so now we're going to select the sofa, because obviously the sofa is gonna cost more for shipping. Okay, now one thing that you should probably take off is take off this downloadable and virtual. I don't know why that's on there. I don't know, sorry. But you gotta take that off or else the options won't display, because WooCommerce thinks that it's a virtual product, right? Which is, there's no shipping for that. So we'll go ahead and scroll down. And after we add those in, now you'll see that we have this option for a shipping class. And this is where we can actually say, you know what, for this specific product, we're gonna charge the heavy shipping fee because this is obviously a large product. So having this option available really gives the vendors the full flexibility to add in the shipping cost for whatever their products cost to ship. Obviously, every vendor is gonna have different shipping costs, and this is a great way to make sure that, they have the flexibility of at least adding how much the shipping costs, right? So it's now pending review, and we're gonna go to the, we're gonna pick the sofa, and we're gonna scroll down here, and all I'm gonna do here is add this to the cart, right? So I'm gonna add this to the cart. And here is the cart. And if we scroll down, you'll see that now the flat rate shipping costs $57. Now, what you'll need to do in order for this to work is you'll need to make sure that you don't really have any of your other options applied. So You want to make sure that you only have the vendors option, because if you have another zone, your zone will actually override the vendors. So when doing this, if you decide to have shipping classes, then you need to only have one for the vendors, because any other rule will overrule the vendors, right? Hope that makes sense. So that is the shipping classes. Again, it's a very flexible way to add shipping costs for your vendors. Okay, so now we're going to talk about another important feature, and that is returns. Returns are probably going to be one of the more popular topics. You're going to get a lot of returns, so that's just how business is. And here is return and warranty request. So you'll go ahead and turn this on. Now, once you turn this on, customers will have the option to actually request returns, and vendors can actually handle returns on their own behalf. So let me walk you through a customer experience of them purchasing a product and then asking for a return. Okay, so I logged on the website on a brand new browser. I'm actually running out of browsers. I'm switching between Mozilla and Opera, and now I'm using Safari, which is a terrible one. I mean, at least I think so, right? So I'll go ahead and add some of these products to the cart. All right, cool. So the order has been received, and me as a customer, here is my information. And now that I've done that, I can actually go to my account. So WooCommerce will create an account for the customer right away. And then here I can take a look at my orders, right? So here's my order and it's processing. So from Greg's point of view, I'll go ahead and complete this, and then I'll request a refund. Okay, so here is the order, and from Greg's point of view, I'll go ahead and complete the order and just let them know that I delivered it and I shipped it, and yeah. All right, so there is the order, it's completed. And now what we can do is log back onto the customer's point of view, and then we can request a refund. So now I'll refresh this. Okay, so here it is. So I'll click on request warranty. And then right here, I'll go ahead and request a refund for a bad item. And this is a weird item. And then click on submit request. Looks like a little chopped off right there. I don't know how that happened. I think it's just the browser itself, right? So from the vendor's point of view, you can go ahead and let them know about the item and why they're returning it. So here under the RMA settings, for example, we have bad item. You can put doesn't work, right? Doesn't work, or not as described. And then the user can go ahead and select one of these options right here when they are requesting a refund. So make sure that you come to this section first and then turn it on, and then click on save changes. And now Greg can go ahead and process the refund. Now the vendors can actually go ahead and talk to the customers. So here is the very first one that I did. And you'll see that we have the conversation going back and forth. So I can write to them and then they'll get notified and they can write back to me. So the customer can talk to the vendor directly without me having to intervene as the admin, which is actually very helpful, right? So I'll go back and check the other order right here. So I'll click on manage. And then I'll put what is the issue? And then click on send message. Okay, and if we scroll down, you'll see the conversation starts. All right, so here is the refunds and orders. I'll click on view, scroll down, and then here is what is the issue. So now I can go ahead and talk back. So you suck, man, and then the vendor will actually get this message, right? So yeah. Okay, so you suck. And let's see if Greg can respond to that message, right? I'll refresh this. And there it is. You suck, man. So there you go. You can see that they can go ahead and converse. Now, if Greg just wants to go ahead and just process the refund right away and not deal with this, they can go over here to orders. They will go ahead and click on the actual order and click on view. And if they scroll down, you'll see that they can request a refund right here. So request refund. And we're going to go ahead and request the refund for, let's see, this amount. So okay, we'll scroll down, and right here they can click on request refunds, and we're gonna head and put in that price there. They typically can't really get their shipping back, so that's kind of unfortunate, right? So we'll just put $23, right? And then we'll put submit request refund, and then click on OK. And then over here under the refunds, we will see that there is the refund amount for, $490. And once we click on it, we can then go ahead and scroll down and refund this order back to the actual customer. So we'll go ahead and put in the amount. And once you sync it up with Stripe, you can pay it back with Stripe, or you can just refund this manually and just, send them a check or something else. So that is how we can go ahead and refund orders. There it goes. Okay. Oh no, refund it. Oh no, I did too much, right? So yeah. So I'll go ahead and put in like a refund amounts. Refund. And here I'll go ahead and put in the amounts, 467. And yeah, and then I'll go ahead and refund this via Stripe. And now the refund has been sent back to the customer. So we refunded $467. And you can always go back into your Stripe account and verify this, but that is the process of handling refunds with vendors. So it's going to go to the vendor first, it'll go back to the admin, and then the admin will refund the customer. You can choose to auto approve refunds if you want to go that route in the Dokan settings, but I think you should always take a look at refunds before you actually approve them. Okay, and the very last option is going to be the custom vendor store. So here you're going to see that we have this store right here where the vendor has a custom store that we can actually build with Elementor. Now, if we go over here to our demo website that we were working on in the beginning, and we go to our store and we click on one of these vendors, you will see that, it does look very similar, right? But we can actually go ahead and remodify the store to our liking, right? So this is an option if you want to go that route, and this is using the Elementor page builder. So in order to activate this feature, we're going to type in Elementor, and we're going to turn this on right here, okay? Now, once you do that, we'll actually go over here to the Elementor theme builder. Now, in order for this to work, you must have Elementor Pro. So Elementor is a free plugin, but in order to actually get this feature, you must have the Elementor Pro version as well. Many of you probably do, but if you don't have it yet, there is a link to purchase Elementor Pro in the description. You just need the business plan or better, the one that costs $100, right? So the first thing you have to do is get out of this. So you click on table view. For some reason, the theme builder only works in this specific style with Dokan. I don't know why, but if you use their new visual builder, it doesn't work, right? So the very first thing we're gonna do is click on a single store. And I'm sorry, not theme builder. Okay, now the very first thing that you're gonna do once you get to this screen is you'll click on add a new template. And up here, we'll go ahead and find the single store. And then I'll click on create a template. All right. Now we can choose to use these blocks if we want to, right? So I'll just go ahead and say, I'll use this one right here. Why not? I'll just, pick something that I can work with, right? All right. So this is actually what we already have on the actual store, but over here, I'll click on the add elements. And now you'll see that we have a little bit more elements. So right here we have store, and now we can drag and drop these elements, right? So we have store banner, right? So now the banner will display right here. Now this is using dynamic content. So whatever the user uploads to the store, it'll display right here, right? So what you can do here is you can actually use these store elements and you can drag and drop more onto the store. You can also use the Elementor elements as well. So if you also want to combine it and you want to add like a button over here to their LinkedIn or something else, right here, I'll just type in like LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn. You can go ahead and mix and match these elements. So the store elements are strictly for the store right here. So you'll be able to add in like a store share button. Here we go, right here, right? Also, we can go ahead and add in social profiles and so on and so forth. So obviously this will take time for you to design and decorate yourself, but you have full flexibility to design the store. Now, once you do this, this will automatically reflect all of the vendor stores. So I'll go ahead and click on publish and then add a condition. And then for the display conditions, we're gonna put single store and then click on save and close. Okay, So now if we go over here back to our websites and I refresh the page, you are now going to see that we have that LinkedIn button right here and then that share. Now the vendor will have to add in their social links right here, and once they do, it'll automatically propagate right here. I think we actually do have one of the vendors that actually already did that. I think that was Daryl's store, I think. Yeah, so you'll see right away that they're that the social links appear right here. So you can go ahead and add more to this, and this will reflect every store. So if I click on any of these vendors, they're all gonna have the same exact store style. Okay, so yeah, you get the point, right? So you can basically make this page however you want, and this will reflect all of the vendors on your websites. So if you're building a store, you might come across that there is not a template available for your niche. Now on my website, darylwilson.com, we actually have more than 410 Elementor toolkits available. You can easily import this on your website with one click. So if you do need like an e-commerce templates and you found like, you know, you can't find one on the internet, you can go to my website. We actually sell like more than 400 and you can get all of them for like $100. It's a crazy deal. So I'll go ahead and leave our templates in the description if you do want to check those out, because I understand if you're new to WordPress, you're probably not the best designer, right? And I totally get it. But some people think they're the best designer because it's their websites. But, you know, after looking at some beginner websites, I'm like, yeah, you need some work, man. So if you do need more templates, we have many on my website, darylwilson.com. So I'll leave that link in the description below of this video for you all to check out later. Okay, so this is my website, darylwilson.com. Now, once you go to this website, you can click on Elementor Templates, and we actually have more than 420 template kits that are available on my website. Now, since we're making a multi-vendor website, the ones that you want to look at right here, if you click on WooCommerce, these are all e-commerce templates, right? So all of these right here integrate with WooCommerce and Elementor. So if you're in any of these niches right here, or if you want to explore them, you can go ahead and check these out. We have more than 80 to choose from. Now we have a few different pricing options. So I'll go ahead and click on this one right here. I think this is for like jewelry. So you can actually just purchase one, and this includes everything, right? We have several pages, as you can see. This also has a pop-up right here that actually comes with the Elementor theme builder, and we have several different blog pages and shop pages, and we've fully designed every single page to make sure that this is a very thorough design, right? We're not giving you those 5-page templates. These actually have more than like 15 pages, so we do put a lot of work into this. So you can purchase each one for $29. You can also subscribe and get access to all 420 templates for the year, or if you want to purchase the lifetime, you get access to all of our templates plus future kits for a one-time price of $149. And if you click on the compare plan, we'll let you know what you get. We do recommend the lifetime. I mean, it is the best value. We will change our pricing in the future. I think we're going to get rid of the lifetime, to be honest, and the annual, just because as we make more and more and more, I think selling them one by one would be better. So yeah, no promises, but these are where you can get the templates. Now, one thing too I should mention as well, these templates are using Elementor Pro. That means you must have Elementor Pro. Now, here's Elementor pricing plans, and they always change these pricing plan, guys. So this is gonna look different in like 3 months, and I'm sorry. I mean, they tend to always change their pricing model. You must purchase the Advanced Solo. The reason why is you want access to the theme builder, which gives you access to build every page from scratch. And you also want the pop-up builder. And as you saw, you did see that pop-up when you first clicked on the templates. So you'll need Elementor Pro. So you'll go ahead and purchase this and install it on your website. It is a free 30-day money-back guarantee. And quite honestly, I recommend the Pro just because you get all the features for the plugin. So I will leave my website to our Pro templates in the description below this video if you do want to check those out. All right, party people, thank you all so much for watching my multi-vendor e-commerce tutorial. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. Also, regarding our theme, we are constantly adding in more starter templates. So by the time you're watching this in like a few months, we're gonna have like 100+ demos. We also do have more templates on my website. So if you do want access to like more I guess advanced features and more complex websites, we actually have tons of templates on my website, darylwilson.com, where we sell complete e-commerce stores for like, you know, we have like 400+ kits for like $150. It's really, really cheap. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get to everyone's comments. My name is Daryl Wilson. I'll see you all later.